There we go.
Hello.
Good evening,
Hello,
everyone. Hello. Welcome.
Happy Wednesday
Yes.
evening.
And happy August.
Yeah.
We got some new birthdays for August and anniversaries. So if we want to get right into them, because we're going to have a lot of guests tonight. So as soon as you're ready, Shauna. Can you hear us okay? Anyone hear us? How's our sound?
Well, I think we're. Oh, no, we're
Okay.
not.
Okay. Want to start?
No, you start.
Okay. Birthdays for the month of August are August 2nd, Richard Quinton Wright. He turned 40 years old. And Aaron Hawkins.
And August 3rd, Angela Carvalho and Marilyn Hopkins.
August 4th, Jeannie Chestnut.
And August 6th, Jamie Bond, James Ward, James Polaris.
And we also know James Ward as Cam. He's the one that made our stuffed animals.
Yo, Cam.
August 7th, Lexi Paris Smith.
Now, on August 8th, there's Vinnie Samilia. Also, my two sisters, Patty and Chris, who are twins. Happy birthday.
And August 11th, Linda Jean Day.
August 12th, Michael Shemwell.
August 13th, Bob, the one that comes on our program.
And go ahead, huh?
Jordan Smalls.
And August 14th, Elise Torres.
August 14th, Yvonne Samilia.
And August 15th, William Bowen.
August 19th, Sal Guzman.
August 21st, Anthony Malfino and Jimmy Price.
August 22nd, Celeste Norford and Carol Ballard.
August 23rd, Fred Lidbetter and Gail Kelly and Evan Sullivan.
August 24th, Effie Joe.
August 25th, Rochelle Umi.
August 26th, Marissa Gowan.
And August 27th, Halima Farnsworth.
August 28th, Aaron Schoen.
August 29th, Brooke Rays.
And August 31st, Bray Lee Donnie.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday. All. Happy August birthday. We got a little birthday song. And also in the chat, we see that JW Apostate Family, your birthday is in August. If you could just tell us in the chat what day it is, and we can put it on the calendar. And also, while we were in Tewksbury for the EXJW convention, Richard Quinton Wright was there, so we surprised him. And we sang happy birthday to him because that was the first birthday he celebrated with people. He said he celebrated alone before, but this time it was with people.
Yeah.
So it was really nice. So the anniversaries for the month of August so far, we have August 11th, Fen Yang and Rochelle Umi.
August 15th, Bob and Isabel.
August 26th, Brian and Indira Brown, 30 years.
And August 31st, Peter and Cindy Pinella, Fran's brother and sister-in-law. Happy anniversary
for August. And let us know if there's anyone.
If there's one we missed. Yep.
Okay, thank you. And here's our EXJW events, chats, live streams, and more.
Go ahead, you do that.
Okay, so let's see what events we have coming up. Okay, August 16th at Daytona Beach, there's an EXJW meetup. That's on a Saturday from 12 o'clock to 3 p.m. It's going to be at the Copper Line Coffee, 230 Daytona Beach, Daytona, Florida. So if you're interested, just show up and there'll be a group there. And then, of course, September 2025 is the big meetup in Las Vegas. It's on a Friday and Saturday. It says, join me, my brothers and sisters, for a weekend in Vegas, among other EXJW witnesses, to just kick back for a relaxing weekend. It's going to be Friday, September 26th. We will meet up at 6 p.m. I think it's for dinner and drinks, live music at the beer house. And that's at 3790 South Las Vegas Boulevard, Las Vegas, New York. So, Las Vegas, Nevada, excuse me. So if anyone is near there and they want to check it out. And then they're also going to have a meetup on Saturday. Sorry, I wasn't that quick. There's Saturday. If you can just back up a little bit. Saturday, September 27th, we're going bowling. Meeting up at 4 p.m. at Velocity Esports, address 6587 South Las Vegas Boulevard, Unit 171, and dinner afterwards nearby. So it sounds like a fun weekend if anyone is in the Las Vegas area. Please let us know, because Jerron is the one who is organizing that, and he would like to get a head count. So if you could either email us or text us, and our information is right on the website. The website is EXJWFriends. We've got new buttons made up that we brought to Tewksbury, EXJWFriends. We have card decals, and of course our cards that we hand out. So is there and on the second page about us and on the friends, we have our life coaches, therapists, counselors, and we've got more to add because we found a couple this past weekend. So in these folks here were all Jehovah's Witnesses, and now they are out. So they would be glad to talk with you and set up something. So get in touch with them, please. They are very, very helpful. That's one of the things we need when we leave, is some kind of therapist or life coach. And of course, there's always Discord. Discord is an app that you can get. There's usually someone available to talk to, and they have a movie night tonight after our program at 10 o'clock. Ruby always schedules a movie. So if you're on the Discord, you can watch that. And we still have the, do we still have a GoFundMe for Vern? Is that still up there? Yes, Vern has not had his operation yet. And his insurance does not cover the treatment that he needs. And there's a GoFundMe on there. If you can give a few dollars, they really would appreciate it. So, and anything else you want to check out on the website, it's EXJWFriends. So we appreciate David and Shauna putting that together for us. Thank you. Okay, if there's anyone, do you want to bring whoever's in the...
Yeah, whoever is waiting in the back, welcome them in.
Oh, Rick.
Hello,
well, hi,
Rick
Susan.
and Susan.
That's not Rick, that's Susan. And Audra and Will and Nadine. Wow, you're all ahead of us. Thank you.
What a crew.
Thank you for coming on. Audra, thank you so much for coming on. I did not have your information, so please send it to us so
Hello,
we can
Rick.
have it. Hi, Rick.
Hello, Joe Fran.
So glad you come.
Will. So who has to get off quickly
Yeah.
so we can, and I know Will had just a few minutes.
No,
I
I've rearranged some stuff. I have as much time as you want.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And Nadine, what about you?
Hi, Fran, and Joe.
Hello.
I can talk now.
Oh, good.
Okay,
Good,
because I know you were in between work and you're in California, so.
Right.
And hi, Dinah
Diana
Lost.
Lost.
So what the
Hi.
subject we're
Hey,
talking
Dinah.
about is the EXJW convention that we all went to, and everybody that's on the screen was there. So if we could just take turns, and yes, if you want to start with Nadine?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I should introduce
Hi.
her. And hello, Nadine, and we just
Hi,
want to
everyone. It's good to see you guys. First, I want to thank Rick for such a great time. I really appreciate everything that you did. I know it was a lot of work, and I had a great time, and the room accommodations were perfect, and I really enjoyed myself. And that's the first time really that I've been out of California. I did go to Las Vegas a few times, but that's it. I've never been to another state. So that was quite an experience, and it's gorgeous in Tewksbury, and I think I could live there except for the winters. But it is beautiful, and I wanted to, thank Rick and Susan. I met Susan, and I just love Susan. She's really, really sweet, and I enjoyed talking to her, and I had a great time, and I met a lot of people.
so glad because this was the very first EXJW convention. And Rick, you put an awful lot of effort and time and expense out for it. And we truly appreciate that.
Yeah, Rick has been working on
Yeah.
this convention for almost 2 years,
Yeah.
and it took a lot, and it was very stressful because at the last minute everybody needed something, and Rick was going here and Rick was going there, and everybody wanted Rick's attention. So yeah, Rick, we really appreciate
Yeah.
all you and Susan and your crew did. I think you're muted.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you very much, Nadine. Yeah, no, I'm glad we had a really good time. Very, very pleased with the overall operation of it. Things went smooth. I don't have a lot of complaints. No one's really complaining. All I'm getting is good comments. So I think it went over pretty well.
Oh, went great, Rick. It went great. I think we're gonna see the benefits from it ongoing more every day. I really do. All the good new relations that were made, and the contacts, and the new efforts that are being put out.
Can I say something?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yes.
Hello,
Hi, Susan.
Susan.
Hold on.
Hi.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah. We can get this mic over to you.
Okay.
Speak into this mic.
One of the things that I really, really enjoyed is the noise, the talking. It never stopped the whole time we were there, even during some of the talks. And people just loved meeting each other and, exchanging experiences. And it was really, really great to hear all those voices.
I will let you get me some water soon.
Well, we were given that opportunity, and we truly appreciate that.
Did Audra leave? Please come back, Audra. We want to hear from you. If you can turn your video back on, please. Yeah, we're just going to kind of do like a round robin. So hang in there because there's going to be a lot of comments. Who's next?
Maybe Stephanie
Stephanie just came in.
or Will.
Will is
Hello,
on.
Stephanie. Will, did we hear from you yet?
Hello there. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we can
we
hear
can.
you. Let's
Thank you.
Let's hear you.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry. What was the question you had for me? I apologize.
I said,
I'm a little bit
The
distracted.
question is, what are you going to say?
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh no, the convention. Yeah, it wasn't quite sure what to expect. Obviously, it's a fairly new thing for me to be going to something like this, a convention anyway. It's been a few decades. Yeah, but I thought it was amazing. Yeah, I thought it went really well. Yeah, I think it was. As far as from my perspective, I think it was more than we could have hoped for.
Oh, I totally agree. Totally agree. Absolutely. Yep. Yep. We heard some talks from different ones. I know ones like, well, Stephanie. And are you hearing us, Stephanie?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Nice and sunny there.
Yeah, we're having a fire. I've got all my cardboard and Brian had to trim the trees, so I've got all the branches and stuff to burn. So
Oh, that's
Outdoor
nice.
life.
Yeah, it's
Outdoor
nice,
life.
yeah, nice to get out in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of the EXJW convention, Stephanie?
I think that Rick did a lot of work to put that together, and it was a lot of stress with the air flights and everything. Boy, yeah, that's a lot of responsibility to take on. So thank you, Rick Fearon, for
And the
putting.
weather wasn't cooperative, but
Yeah, oh yeah, it was pouring down rain. Of course, I didn't have to drive, so I didn't care. let my honey take the wheel, right? Yeah, it was
Right.
nice to finally have, so many of the voices that we talked to over the years, and to be in the same room. I have a whole new love and respect for the meetups that Joe and Fran are so famous for. I
Wow.
starting to understand the value of this community. Yeah, because I
We-
kind of came in more recently. So thank you.
No, we
Yeah.
couldn't do it without all of you,
yeah.
without everybody's, participation and interest. Yes.
Yeah, I hope to see more of those meetups in the future, whether they be conventions or I think the casual, thing is nice. But it'd be nice to have more meetups and get the beautiful thing about the convention. And hopefully, this was your idea behind it. I would imagine, Rick, getting us all to one roof and getting our collective mind to say, what can we do to I don't know how Rick does it. Bring down the tentacles of Watchtower. However he
That's
says
right.
it. But yeah, it was beautiful to make new connections and rekindle old connections. And I'm really excited to see where the future goes with all the energy behind our movement.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think that for many, it was the opportunity to develop a new mission for themselves
Mhm.
to
Yeah,
address many of the different needs of the community. Matthew,
Yep.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for welcoming me here. I really do appreciate it. And I really appreciate the quick thinking that has been involved, your power of discernment for letting me in. I think you put yourselves at a tremendous risk. But I just want to say thank you very, very much.
You're
You're
welcome.
welcome. Thank you for coming on. If you can hold there, Matthew, we want to just welcome Dinah Lost. She was at the EXJW convention, and Jen.
Hi.
Hi, Jen. Hey, Dinah Lost. Lisa.
Yeah, so I know that putting groups like this together is a lot of hard work, and it takes you don't have a gathering if it doesn't fall apart. Like something always has to fall apart
Yeah.
with gathering. It's an expected,
Oh,
unexpected.
it's a natural. Yeah.
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 So, but the connections that I made and the new direction, or at least guidance on how I can move forward and know that I have, people that understand. It meant a lot, at least that much.
Yeah, and you gave your experience too, and that was very heartwarming. Because other people that have been through what you went through, and Jen, you really, and also Stephanie and Will, people connect with that. So, we really appreciate you speaking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And everyone's sharing their part. And
And
Jen, you
Yeah.
there?
Yep. I was very grateful to be able to
meet Will and Dinah and Star, and then Stephanie, of course. But the lawyers, Travis, and the investigator Joel, that really brought, I guess, focus, and it felt like we can actually do something. So it's not just going to be sharing our story, but we actually have a plan to move forward. So I'm all about that.
You know, and I just want to say that all it takes is one more thought that we receive from someone that ignites something new inside of us to direct us forward in a way that we never went before. And that's what happens when we connect together with others. It's just so unpredictable. And the spirit that we possess together and then share, it makes very special things happen. And we're watching that right now. We're watching it happen right now.
Could I share?
I know one experience that Stephanie, who just said, did someone just say something? Yeah, I was thinking of the gal that drove all night. I don't know if that's what you were going to talk about.
No, but I'll tell that story, and then I'll save the other thing for later. Yeah, so it was Sunday, well past the hour that Brian and I should have been on the road to head back home. And some lady grabbed my arm. She says, "Are you Stephanie Carson?" I said, "Yes, I am." And she says, "Oh, good. I heard you on a podcast. You said you were going to be here. So I drove all through the night to get here to speak to you." And here she still had her car running in the parking lot with her animals in the car. But she was so excited to speak to me because for the first time in her life, she didn't think she was. That makes sense. And so I was able to talk her through with, what did she come there to meet me for? And I realized that she definitely needed to speak to the investigators because she was reporting several different types of crimes that the Jehovah's Witnesses have committed against herself or her family. And, so what a blessing to have had, if that's the only thing that came of this, but there's so much more that came of it, Right. People are rising and speaking and have hope, and the investigators are offering, like Jen had said, a safe space for us to tell our stories.
That's right. So just to review it, just really briefly, the investigation that you're talking about, Stephanie, that entails exactly what? Just to bring everybody up to speed.
Yeah. So, back the end part of last year, the beginning of January this year, I had contacted several counter trafficking organizations because I was trafficked in the Jehovah's Witness organization. I've come across many other survivors of trafficking and forced labor traffic. Those of us that were publishers underage, that is forced child labor, maybe building kingdom halls or, that type of work that we did for the organization actually broke several of our U.S. laws. So, many more of us were trafficked than just those that were sexually trafficked. So anyways, I had contacted them and asked them for help, to look into the organization as a whole, because I had heard my story alone was one too many, but when I started to figure out that this was real big issue, and it was well beyond anything I could ever figure out myself. I asked them to help me figure it out. So that's what they're doing, and they're listening to our stories across the board. Whether I've had people come forward telling me about money laundering issues, child sex trafficking, all types of murder. I've had all types of different crimes that the Watchtower has participated in or facilitated the covering up of. And so these investigators are working nationwide to formulate information that is actionable information that we can use for several different things. One would be to change laws, to get, real investigations going, similar to what is going on in Pennsylvania, but hopefully on a much more massive scale. And then, we can use information is valuable. Information is actually probably the most valuable thing on earth. And that's why they try to hide the information and lie to us. But
Right.
so that's, our voices are that information. And so that's what the investigation is. They're collecting actionable information that can facilitate further investigations and also to help the survivors come forward. We have, hopefully about 1,000 survivors. Everyone's welcome to step forward, talk to the investigators, see if a crime's been committed against you. We have all had our human rights. All of us have had our human rights injured by that organization. And can I tell them the good news now, Fran, that I told you earlier?
Yes, please.
So as of yesterday, our advocates have an attorney that has been being assigned to us from the Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights Center. So just like, we got the investigation going on in Pennsylvania, that would be saying we have an attorney investigating, the Attorney General. We now have an attorney at the Human Rights Council that will be investigating these human rights abuses that we're bringing forth in all of these civil lawsuits.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Gaining traction.
Yes,
Gaining
it's
traction.
wonderful.
Yeah, information is one thing, but making the information actionable. So that's what these gentlemen are. And they want to hear your story, even if you think too much time has passed, the perpetrator's dead, or I'm probably crazy. I'm the only one that could have possibly happened to. No, there's a lot of crimes that the Watchtower has perpetrated against.
Lawyers
And the
lawyers
statute of
will-
limitations is different with civil. So if you think that you have run out on your statutes, they are different with these kind of cases. So I would go ahead and check.
Yes.
Let the lawyers figure that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So nationwide, survivors can come forward. I know Joel's going to be coming on here. Thank you, Ruby. I love you. I know Joel, the lead investigator, is going to be coming on the show a little bit tonight. He's promised to show up and answer questions. So,
Stephanie, can we just interrupt? We're going to continue on there, but we want to welcome Atika and her husband. I forgot your name. I'm sorry, and it's covered up right now.
Nathan.
Oh, sorry, Nathan.
Nathan. Sorry,
Welcome.
Nathan.
Welcome.
Yeah, you guys were at the convention, and we're just talking about, what your reaction was.
Oh, it was great. Fantastic. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah,
Yes,
we can hear you.
well.
Okay.
We first met you in Washington, D.C. at the protest. Okay, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, I actually, my parents are both still believing Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay. And I work with my dad. And yesterday, because of the documentary crew got us and they said, hey, we're going to interview. We'd like to interview you guys. And we were like, yeah, okay, sure. We'll do that. And I knew that if this ever got out on Netflix or whatever, that someone would see it and it would get back to my family one way or another. I was going to get ahead of it. You know what? So I was talking to my dad yesterday. I said, Dad, I have to tell you something here. And, we went up to Massachusetts last weekend and he's like, yeah, you went to some sort of EXJW thing, right? And I was like, wow, how did you know? And he just kind of guessed it, I guess. But yeah, I told him about it. I told him about a lot of the people that we met. You guys, how you're trying to connect people and people that leave and don't have anybody, they're by themselves, and you're just trying to, connect them with other people. you know, and I was like, you would like them if you didn't know who they were or what they were doing. You'd actually like them if you met them. You know? And I told him about, you know, a lot of the stories that we heard, and he was not thrilled about it, but surprisingly,
he's getting used to it.
He's getting used to it. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. He's getting used to it, and I'm sorry, I'm talking and I'm looking at Tika's phone. I'm looking at the TV, and none of it is syncing with what I'm saying. So it's a little confusing. But anyway, but he's getting used to it, and we had a nice little talk.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I mean it's one of those things where you just, if witnesses would just see what we're seeing right now. I was thinking after on Sunday we had to leave a little bit early to drive home, and we were talking with you guys, and we're talking with, I forget who all, but it felt kind of like an old convention. You know, you get together, you know, the friends, and you're talking, and it felt the same way. I mean, just really nice people, nice experience, and we just really enjoyed it, and we hope we get more of these, and we're planning on attending if there's any more of them, certainly. So
I just want to just encourage everyone to do their own little meetups. Anything, 2, 3, 10
and
people,
Tika
20 people.
Fran just texted her, I guess today.
Well, yesterday.
Yeah. And told her about some people in Richmond that also were out, and was like, hey, you should meet up with these people. And Tika's like, I know these people. And so she's planning on,
that's wild.
She's planning on you know, reaching out to them, and we'll probably get together sometime, because we get down to Richmond a lot because her family's down there, so we'll probably do that. But yeah, I'd like to keep this thing.
I'll drive down and meet you there.
Absolutely. Yes. By the way, we've been reading your book, Will. It's been great. On the ride home, Tika read probably a third of it, and then because she was talking to Vicky, actually, texting her, and we said we read a good bit of it on the ride home, and then the next day, I think when we were laying in bed, she read a good bit of it. So yeah, it's a great book. Great book.
No, I appreciate it. It's easy to read.
That way, yeah.
Yeah, so we enjoyed that.
Awesome. It was great to see you all there as well.
Yeah.
Actually, Will, I just want to tell you this real quick. So one of my clients today, I do hair, and I had a client that she knows about my situation with coming out of Jehovah's Witnesses and everything, and she asked me, so how's it going? And I told her we were just in Boston for this EXJW convention. Anyway, we got into a bunch of stuff, but I wanted to tell her about your story, and it's kind of a beautiful love story in the end. And so anyway, she was like, please tell me the name of his book. I want to read that. Like, please let me know. That's so amazing. It's a beautiful love story in the end. And anyway, she was like, please tell me the name of his book. I want to read that. It's like, please let me know. That's so amazing. It's a beautiful love story in the end.
Oh my God, I'm on TV. Wow, what did I just do? Oh wow.
Oh, hi, Amy. Amy, can you turn one thing off? Turn something off, okay?
I'm sorry, I've never been on this StreamYard. I didn't really, I just figured I'd click on it and see what happened.
Yeah, just
and all of a sudden I saw myself on the TV.
Yes.
What?
That's wow.
Well, welcome. Amy.
Thank you. Let's see.
And Matthew, maybe we can hear something from you. I know you have something valuable to offer for us. I know you do.
Well, I'm the new person here, so I default to the chairperson. So whatever you would like to ask me, I will just do the best I can. But,
well,
I think first of all, I should really emphasize my thanks to you, because from what I can discern, You've embraced the name apostates or EXJW, and I think this has been used throughout history to control narrative. I really see that. And I see the incredible helpline that you've put in place and how quickly you are able to, well, I'm going to say this and correct me right or wrong, but use spiritual ability to just discern what's going on and cut through. So I don't want to be long-winded or anything like this, but I just want to extend thanks and deepest respects to all of you for what's been arranged and accomplished. I think it's historic. I really feel that.
I truly believe that, and we wanted to be a part of that. We really did, and still do. And in all fairness, our goal, and I think we're seeing it, is to see this develop into a loving apostasy. Mm-hmm. And I really mean that.
I do think that, I mean, I know this is a critique and I hesitate but I'm going to do it anyways. But the structure of it, I do think there should be a trigger warning and potentially more support for people that might have hard times with triggers, especially with the whole seating thing. It was very tight, like getting in and out of the rows. I know, like, we didn't know how many people were coming, so I get that, but it was just the whole idea of it brought you back to the old meeting times. And then some of the brothers seemed preachy, which, brought me back down to my, just curl down in the seat and hang on.
Yeah, we're going to talk
kind
a
of
little bit
feeling.
about that thing, a little bit about
But I think it helped us understand what we could do for the next one to make it better. So I think it was a good foundation of knowing, like, okay, well, we know this happened, so what can we do about it?
Yeah, Lisa, I'm going to see that from both sides. From both sides, the side of the individuals to grow, and from the other side, from the group to support their growth. That's the way I'm going to view it.
And if I can say something, everyone came to that convention with expectations. Mm-hmm. Okay, we never went to one before.
Oh my goodness.
We've been talking about it. People were excited, and we all had expectations, and some of us had some reservations.
There were some unfulfilled expectations.
I didn't have expectations so much as I didn't know what to expect. It was the fact that I was completely, I was like, well, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I don't know if that's going to happen. It could be this way or it could be this way. So I prepared for Armageddon.
Can I interject for a minute, since I talk to survivors all day long, and this is the message I keep hearing, that there needs to be a bridge between those that have been highly traumatized and those that some of us are. It's not that we're still in the organization, but there's always going to be a generational gap.
Yes,
and there's a generational gap, and then you top on top of that when some people still have that presence of those that harmed you. You're the elder type personas. It can be triggering for survivors, and that's a hard thing if you haven't had these same traumas as survivors, that you'll never notice or comprehend on your, you know what I mean? It takes one to know one, if that makes sense. And so I've been hearing that a lot, and that survivors are tired of talking about their trauma. They want to be they want to tell their victory story. They don't want to keep rehashing the pain. And so that's what I heard across the board, which I think is a beautiful thing. I learned that's what I learned from this, because the girls and the guys, the survivors, not just the ones that attended the convention, but this is overall what I'm hearing from them. And so
I
think
think it was
as
a
a
good
group,
space because we were able to adapt and break off into groups and be able to, handle things. And what was good about it is the fact that we yes, like for me, let me just put for me, I was triggered, but I have never felt like people were there to support me before. Like being while out in the middle of being triggered, I've never felt support like I did. And it
I'm
was
glad.
just being around each other. So it was just like it was a whole bunch of heartbreak and a whole bunch of warmth at the same time. So I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah,
Yes.
that's the
It's
hard
called
part about
growth.
Yeah. Lisa.
growth.
That's called
Growth is
growth.
you need that triggering to feel why to process it. So we all made progress. I made progress from things I learned from this weekend.
Yeah, me
Thank you
too.
for sharing, Dinah.
If we could introduce Amy, and we'll get back to everyone, but Amy is the one that drove through the night to meet up with Stephanie. So, Amy, welcome.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I can't really see myself. I'm trying to watch the TV, but it seems like my phone is what's connected. And anyways, it
Yeah,
seems
no,
like
we
my
can see
reactions
you.
are delayed, but
No, we
um,
see you. We see you and
okay,
hear you.
cool. I can see myself in the TV, but not here. Anyways, thank you for having me and thank you for inviting me. And yes, when I learned there was that Stephanie, who I just watched on Quinn's thing, was gonna be there, I was like, come hell or I mean, I don't stay up all night. I've probably done that 3 other times in my life. Not my choice. So that was a lot for me. I drove my ass off. I can't believe I made it.
Wow.
And I can't believe I was still awake afterwards. I wish I would have gotten there sooner, but I'm super grateful and I'm super
Oh, you
grateful to have
did.
made the connection and stuff.
You
And
did.
I'm really hopeful, which is something I haven't felt in the past 3.5 years, 4 years.
Wow.
So I'm
Oh,
grateful.
very good. Very good.
And thank you for sending me an invite, Joe and Fran. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I thought of it the last minute, but I'm glad you could come on.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I know Rick has probably you've had a lot of feedback, Rick, and probably some positive and probably some negative. Was there anything you wanted to share?
Well, I'll tell you, Fran and Joe, it was amazing. I'm still kind of recuperating
I
after a couple
believe
of
it.
days. It was
I
a lot of
believe it.
work.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had to go in there and put a stage up. They did not have a stage, so we had to build a stage. Then they didn't have any PA system, so we had to bring our own PA system and set up. So it was a lot of work setting up, and consequently, even a lot of work taking it down. So we're kind of recuperating. Some of the people stayed around. We went off and made a trip into Boston yesterday with a number of people. I told the people, ahead of time, if you want to stay up, we'll go and do something. So we did. So yeah, all the feedback I've been getting, I would say that 99% of it, the people really liked it. They really, really did. I've been getting people writing me, saying they were encouraged. And I really thought that, there's a lot going on, that people don't see. I was wishing I could have my head more together there. But at the same time, we were doing a lot of other things behind the scenes. We had a lot of people got stranded at airports. Some of the people that we were, bringing up to the convention, helping them out. And they did get stranded. A lot of people had to go back home. And I'm not saying hundreds, but there's at least, I'd say 20, 30 people that couldn't make it, that they had to turn around. On Thursday night, we had terrific thunderstorms up here in Boston. And a lot of the planes, they couldn't land. So they were laying over in Chicago, laying over in Baltimore. Some people actually got off the plane in Baltimore and rented a car and came up. So I would say 20 to 30 people could have been there that couldn't have been there because of the weather. But overall, I got a head count. I tried to do the best I could, even though people coming, going, and what have you. So in 3-day convention, not counting the same people twice, but I did talk to some people that came in. They spent 2 hours there and left. A number of people did that. They could only spend a little time. They came in, listened to a couple of talks that they wanted to listen to, and left. But overall, the numbers that I counted, It's in the vicinity of 348
Wow.
to 352. It
Wow.
is very,
That's
very
fabulous.
difficult. So, cumulatively over the 3 days. Now,
Yeah,
that
that's
doesn't mean that there's
wonderful.
That's fabulous.
348 in one day, but accumulatively, people coming in Friday and
Yeah.
people coming in Saturday, people left Saturday, couldn't be there. So, from what I estimate, we had go in the vicinity of 350 people, and that's what I was projecting. So it worked out pretty well.
What about online? Did you get a count on online
Yeah,
on the
we had,
platforms?
we run, I didn't get a total figure because we're on a number of different platforms, but on YouTube, we were running about, it depends what time of the day it was, but we were upwards of 2.5, 200, 220 in that area. But now that it's up, there's a lot of people getting in there right now. So we'll probably get, once it's uploaded, 5,000 to 10,000 clicks. Yep.
Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous.
Maverick was asking you, Rick, if let's see, he said, a question for Rick. Is this going to be the start of an annual convention for us all?
Well, I've had a lot of people ask me that. A lot of people, Rick, if you do this again, it'll double in size. It's a lot of work, friends. I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to do it again, but it's an awful lot of work, and you really need a lot of helpers. You really, really do. When you run something like this, especially for the first time, it's very difficult. I had a lot of people that I sent out 258 tickets. Plus was people that were going to come that didn't have tickets. But then a lot of people at the very end, well, I can't come, Rick, and something came up and it's kind of expensive and I can't do it. So that was a little disappointing to me, but that's always going to happen. But, for a year and a half, I've been really planning this and pushing it. I mean, I'm happy. I'm very, very happy with my biggest fear was, what if you ran a convention like this and 40 people showed up? I mean, that would look terrible. But we did get the numbers you were looking for, and we had 12 tables set up. I mean, you, Fran and Joe, you had a table. Gary Alt, Gary, a number of people had tables with the lawyers, Stephanie. So that was a good thing. And what I found, and really, I walked out into the corridor many a times. There was a lot of people when the convention started and the speakers began speaking. It was very difficult. Not everybody came into the auditorium. I would say, 3/4 of the people came in that were there to listen to the convention. But the other quarter were so involved in conversation, which I knew that would happen.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, these people have all been touched by the tentacles of the Watchtower. And Susan and I realized that, a lot of people would just want to converse with one another, unlike at the witness conventions. That didn't happen. That never happened. But at this one, because so many people have been really, traumatized, many of them, that they couldn't get over, talking to other people of like sort. So that to me was very amazing. And that was the most important thing, because that was a healing process for so many people.
Yeah. I know one time we went up and watched it on the big TV and the TV in the room so that we could have commentary because we just were feeling so much. We wanted to speak about everything that was being said, but we didn't want to disturb the audience. So we were watching, but we were just, talking and having commentary about everything that was going on and processing things. So it was definitely a healing weekend for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Lisa, because I knew several people that were in their rooms watching it. So, we don't know how many were there, but they were watching. On Sunday, Rick, there was a gentleman that came, and Norman came up to me and he said, this guy just came in here and he's still a Jehovah's Witness, but he's leaping.
Oh my
And
God.
I said, okay, so I got Vinny Samelia. He's very outgoing from Massachusetts, and I had him talking, and then a couple of the Jeannie and Dan from Rhode Island, they started talking to him. So, and we gave him our card. We said, please contact us. So he was sitting there all alone and taking it in. So it was amazing.
Oh yeah, in fact, we did have
That's great.
there were, in fact, he was an active Jehovah's Witness that was, loosening up and not wanting to go to the meetings anymore. But, I have to tell you, there's also other people that there was one man, Saturday night, we didn't really shut it down yet. We had the band playing. There was one man that was a guest of the hotel.
Yeah.
And so he came down, his name was Dennis, and he was amazed. He said, "What is this?" He says, "This is really fascinating." He had a friend that was one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and you recognize that the witness was a little awkward. And so he says, "This is just, I've never seen anything like this before." So, it resonated with people. And even today, I still have signs up around Tewksbury and around Massachusetts and New Hampshire. And I got a call from a woman this morning. Susan and I were having breakfast together, and a woman called me and said, "Is this I'm calling up. I see a sign here in Tewksbury. My husband and I are traveling on vacation up from Connecticut. They're going up to Maine." And they said, "We saw a sign here in Tewksbury, what Jehovah's Witnesses are hiding behind." And she said, what is it they're hiding behind? Now, I thought they might have been operatives of the Watchtower, because we got a lot of them, calling up and razzing me about the whole thing. But these were legitimate people. And, whether they were witnesses or not, she said, "Well, what are they hiding behind?" So I said, "Well, let's start with, the sex abuse. These guys are covering it up, but it goes further, shunning and people being really traumatized and hurt by being in the Watchtower." So she was very fascinated on it. So I'm texting her some information that she wanted. But, the more we speak up, and all of us together, united together, Fran and Joe, the word is getting out. The word is getting out how heinous and evil the Watchtower organization is.
There hits a point where it's called critical mass, where enough word gets out, and by people like us, and then all of a sudden, the public starts speaking it. It will hit that point. Our words are not falling on deaf ears, and we have reason to just keep going forward. It's working.
Well,
Willie,
exactly right. I'm sorry. What happens here is now you've got, we were wondering, when we first started this convention a year and a half ago, a man came up and visited me, and he says, "Rick, you got to hit a home run. If this convention doesn't hit a home run, we're in trouble." Now, he wasn't even part of the network here, but that's what he was saying. He was a former Jehovah's Witness. So I knew a year and a half ago, in putting this together, it's got to be, you really got to get the people there. So, I promoted it a lot, took out a lot of advertising on Facebook, put signs up all over the area, talked about it on our Six Screens program. And that was really what I was looking for. We got to get the people there. We've got to really get close to the numbers that I'm looking for. So we did get that. And then the other thing I was looking for, I was thinking, how can you really tell if a convention was successful or not? Well, there's two things I was looking for. There was two criteria that I thought would be very important. And what I was looking for at the end of the convention, I was looking for tears. I was looking for people crying and hugging one another and emailing and, give me your email, give me your telephone number. And I was walking around, and I did see that. There were tears in people's eyes. There were people that didn't want to leave. And that's one of the criteria I had. That people said they wanted to keep going with this, and a number of people did. So that was one of the things I was looking for. And then the other thing I was looking for, and you never really know if you had something that was successful or not. But I figured by people crying and not wanting to go and hitting their head on the doorpost on the way out, I thought that would be good. And then so they were doing that. And the second thing I was looking for is, this all has to settle in. And we all saw the movie, and the epic movie, The Wizard of Oz, with Dorothy up there seeing the wizard and coming back in Kansas. And she wakes up on the bed in the morning and, "Was I really there, Mom? And this happened and that happened." So this is now what I'm getting. People are writing me and saying, "My goodness, Rick, I couldn't believe this." So they're waking up and they're saying, wow, they were in a place that they felt very good with. They felt very comfortable with. So that was the other thing I was looking for. So it happened. So I'm very pleased. It's very possible we could do another one of these. If we did, I had a number of people say, Rick, if you did this again, the numbers would double. And that's how it would work, because a lot of people that couldn't make it this time around, they said, Rick, I wish I was there. I'm coming next time if you have one. So it's very possible.
We should do it in Atlanta, because the flights are cheaper most places, from most places, and that's a central location.
Or what about a group cruise? You ever see those?
Oh yeah, get it.
Yeah, it's very expensive to do this, folks. I have to tell you. You say, well, was it
At least
expensive?
if people say they're coming, they're going to be coming because they spent the money.
But just to throw some financial figures around, I'm not looking for anybody here to donate or anything. I'm not doing that. I'm not asking that one bit. But I'll tell you the truth. To do a convention like we just had, it cost $20,000. So if someone wanted to do something like that, it's going to cost.
It's 8 o'clock.
What's that?
I'm sorry, that was my computer telling everyone the time.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
But, so to do it is very expensive, and but I wanted to do it. This is something I always wanted to do, and not only that, but what we had was a movie company there, and everyone saw that, and it was somewhat, it was wonderful they were there, first of all. And that movie, they're really shooting to put that movie on Netflix. And it could very well be one of the better ex-Jehovah's Witness films about the Watchtower. I mean, really, it could be a very momentous film. And we had to, one of the reasons for the delay and some of the difficulties we had in filming it and live streaming it is we had to let them go first. And certainly I would do that. I mean, for the sake of the, for the 200-300 people that were there listening, I figured it'd be better to have the movie. I mean, if this movie gets produced, which it will, it'll take about a year. But once this movie is produced, that could reach 10, 12, 15, 20 million people. So that is another milestone. This really could be a very momentous occasion. It could really help a lot of people see what's hiding behind the curtains of the Watchtower.
Yeah. Rick, every day, witnesses who are in are going to see that. And that's going to help them realize that there are friends out there for them. You've done a tremendous service for them. You truly have.
Joe and I just did an interview with Lady C. I don't know if people had a chance, but one of the comments, an 82-year-old brother just got out. Because the title of ours was, we left when we were 70. 82 years old, so it's never too late. Yeah. And, people think of their parents, oh, my parents will never wake up. This gentleman was 82 years old. So it's just amazing. People, like you say, Rick, people are coming out in droves.
Well, I stand on that premise, and they are. I can see people coming into our network and to help us. Even today, I had so many emails and telephone calls. Monday, the phone was literally ringing off the hook. The emails I'm getting. We have a Facebook group called Six Screens Facebook group. Hundreds of people wanted to join that. So it's good publicity. It really is. A lot of people connected with this whole thing. And I believe it's going to really help a lot of people that have been in the Watchtower clutches. I've already had a number of people tell me that, one in particular, that, this is really helping them to move away from the Watchtower organization.
Well, every ripple, as I was saying, is, that was a big ripple that weekend. And I think that, if they get that movie out, it's just one more thing that came out of it, and it will start letting people see the dark side of all this bright truth, new light they got going on under their little sheep's clothing.
Yes.
Joe, may I ask a question to the floor?
Yeah, yes, please.
I looked at the quality of information overall to a breakthrough. So I could see that the way things had been selected was very, very careful, and it was very thorough. And in fact, the convention as a whole, looking at each day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the various testimonies, but the content of information is able to fill many gaps. And I just saw it as a complete, what I'm trying to get at is I want to see this thing preserved. I don't want to see it disappearing off YouTube or anything like that. And I want to see it accessible. Is there any kind of threat to it being taken down, or it's solid?
No, there's definitely a threat.
Yeah,
The part
definitely.
with,
Well, I think
Yes.
I think that's the arena we operate in. I mean, that's the battle of it all.
That's
So
another reason why I
making up
offered
DVDs
to.
and making sure that those files are preserved all over the place as much as possible, because that
Yeah.
convention really, look, I'm speaking from my perspective, it solidified so many experiences in many different ways. I couldn't see a crack in it. And my own wish is that every morning, afternoon, and evening, for that matter, because there's even a code in the music, which is phenomenal. Just tuning into the choices of music was really very powerful. And I just wanted to see that, even if it's a rough cut DVD that's available, just to get it can help so many people. That's all. That's the only place I'm coming from here.
Well, Rick, how do we go from there? How do we go to that, Rick?
Well, we're in the process of some of the sound quality. When you're doing live streaming, the music is always kind of not good. It's very hard to work that out. We tweaked it up. We did the best we could. We did eventually get the sound up better. It's a process. It's a learning process. But some of it was a little bit lousy on the audio, but especially on Friday. But on Saturday and Sunday, we kind of got it down. We got some new microphones, and you're able to tie it all in. And it's very difficult when you're in a venue like that with a lot of people and trying to get everyone connected right, and they're all coming in on different in different venues, so to speak. But it is fine. It worked out pretty good. At least you could hear it. But we are editing it, and it will be put on a hard drive, an external hard drive, so it will be preserved. YouTube, they did write me a couple of times. The only issue they had is with there was the music we brought on. We had a portion of the program called Apostates Got Talent, and we had a man from Australia that came on. He does rockabilly music, and they claim that that's a copyrighted music. But I got permission to use it from this man, so they wrote me a couple of times on that. But they had no real issue. They're not going to cancel my account or anything. But they said that you got to be careful with copyright. But we had the person who copyrighted it, so I got to write to YouTube and tell them they were okay on it. But the strangest thing about the whole thing, and when I really look back on it, and I kind of really trying to get an idea of exactly what really went on, it definitely met my expectations. Now, there's some things I would have liked to. We can all go back 20/20 hindsight, really, and say, well, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have did that. But overall, the biggest issue that I had was with timing. And, we had 40 speakers. And, each one of them were given a lot of time. But, when a person gets the microphone, and they will keep going. And even myself, I would do that. We would all do that. It's kind of like a normal thing. We all feel like we want to really get everything out. But my biggest problem was getting people to, to stay in their time zone, so to speak. And so that was a difficult thing to do. And the other thing that I noticed too is that the people, there were many people that I would like to bring on that didn't want to come on. And they said, no, I don't want to come on, Rick. But, in fact, that we had, well, there was 2 or 3 events there that people thought it was a comedy program. we had 2 or 3 speakers that were very funny. I mean, really, I'll just mention it. We had this man, Larry, come on. He sounds like President Franz from the Watchtower. So they had a little raffle going on there. He came up with that idea. That wasn't my idea. He did that on his own. So he had a little raffle, and he wanted to do it on a special time, which was on Sunday. And he really wanted. It was so funny. People thought that was a comedy routine because he came on and he was making such a big. There was $200 in the pot, so to speak. He says, "Now we're gonna split this pot, but we have to get someone up here. We're gonna blindfold them to dip their hand into the jar." I mean, it's like he was giving away $50 million.
It was funny.
He said, "We want to make sure that the person has short sleeves." He says, "So Rick, when you look around the audience, make sure the person has short sleeves because they might try a fast one with long sleeves." And he says, "And we're going to put the blindfold on." It just wasn't something to block the eyes. It was like the person was going to be executed. They had a big head covering, and okay, now let's go in now. He made, so people thought that was a comedy routine.
It wasn't.
They really, but it wasn't. They thought it was. And then also this man, Dean, that came on. We love him dearly, and he really was good. I mean, but they thought he was a comic, and also Anne Marie. So they said, "That's nice. Rick is kind of breaking this up with some comic routines." But it wasn't planned that way,
That's great.
Well, thanks for very much for answering that.
Well,
My own feeling is try to have a preservation of even the errors that if there can be. I don't know if it's going to be underground or if it's appropriate to say that, but there should be one copy of where there's just the errors. It's not cleaned up just from beginning to end, because it was there's even nuances in the errors, or even when the sound's not that good and things like this. I don't think we're looking for HD quality kind of thing. We're looking for essentially, I'm going to say this, the spiritual content that's in there, because this is about spiritual abuse, and that has unlocked it just in its raw state.
Yeah.
So if that can be preserved, I think that's very, very powerful. Not to get too hung up on that, trying to make it perfect or anything. I think it's, to coin this phrase, perfectly imperfect. Yeah, it stands on its own.
No, good direction. Good point,
Yeah,
Matthew.
thank you.
Well,
Thank you, Matthew.
Well,
If I could just
thank you for saying that. And the whole thing is, and this is something. I mean, I'm a Christian man, but I'm not a Christian in your face type guy. I believe that everyone has the right to believe what they want, and I'm not going to try to force feed someone to believe the way I believe, and vice versa. But it's very delicate. On Sunday, we did have a couple of talks, but I told them, don't preach the gospel. This is not the time to do it. But we can talk about spiritual abuse. We can talk about false prophecies. I mean, you got to talk about some of this stuff. You got to talk about some scriptures. I mean, it's part of our trek in the Watchtower. So we had to do it very delicately. This was not a Christian convention. It was not that. Because I noticed what happens when I first started doing this program 20 years ago. I started out trying to preach to people. It doesn't work. It really, really doesn't. People have been so hurt by the Watchtower that it's very difficult. And I can get it. I get it 100%. It's hard for them to connect. So I never would push anybody on that. And even on our regular weekly program, every 2 weeks, we have a Christian program. And I say, if you want to discuss theological issues, well, every other Sunday is the time to do that. But on Saturday night, we don't talk about it. If someone starts getting into preaching, I get them off pretty quick. Yeah.
If I could interrupt, speaking of being hurt by Watchtower, I see Joel's in the chat. Joel, you'll want to go to the top of the chat and click the StreamYard link. And then you're going to want to close out of YouTube. And then they'll put you on the screen.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah, you're welcome. He's I think he's probably coming in. He's our lead investigator we were talking about earlier. He wanted to come on and chat with everybody tonight.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, I guess the stage is full. Please wait until space is made available. Amy, we want to say hi to Amy. We're not ignoring you.
No, I'm just listening. Do you want me to hop off so Jules has a room? I don't need to be on. It's all right.
Well, okay, you can always come back on.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
cool. I'm going
Thank
to try to
you.
do it on my
Thank you,
computer
Amy.
too so I can see it. All right.
Thank you.
Amy.
Thank you. I'm sorry if this takes me a while to figure this part out.
If anyone is done speaking on stage, please go backstage. Yeah, don't leave. Don't go away. We also have one of the speakers coming on. His name is Gary Cox. Gary's going to be coming on. He's getting his computer set up. We did ask Gary out to come on, but he had some other previous engagement. And we have Gail. Hi, Gail. Gigi.
Hi. Do I have like a minute to say something to Rick?
Go ahead.
Hi, Rick. I wanted to thank you very much for all the hard work you put into that convention. I did a 3-day conference, so I know all the work that goes on behind the scenes. You have to book hotels, make up agendas, and chime everybody that's going to be the guest speaker. And I had a friend with me who's not a JW, but he was very impressed with everything. And he came to support me. I didn't want to go 3 days because to me, it felt like a convention. I really wanted to go Saturday, but I was able to watch it on YouTube at home. But I really wanted to meet Barbara Anderson and Fran and Joe, of course, and Rick personally, and Fritz. So I was really excited about meeting everybody. But I wanted to let everybody know that I have 2 active JWs, and they're on the fence. Now, Brenda called me today because she knew I was going to the convention. So she was very curious on what it went. So I told her to go on and listen to Saturday's program because she didn't believe me that there was sex trafficking going on. And I think if her and her husband hear that, they're out. They're definitely going to leave. She really had a hard time believing that it was true. I said, well, watch it and figure that out for yourself.
Yeah.
Because she's been listening to me for over a year now.
Right.
So I just wanted to share that with everybody. I want to especially thank Rick, because I know all the hard work that goes into putting that together. And I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Gail. Thank you very much.
Hello, Dallas.
Hi, y'all.
Hi, Dallas.
I just want us to tell Rick, thank you for your gift to us all.
Well, thank you, Dallas. Did you listen to the convention? Did you?
I did. And well, hi there, Susan.
Hello.
And hi there, Tika and Nate. Hi, Will.
Hey there, Dallas.
Hi, Will. And y'all, it was enjoyable. I enjoyed listening. Anne Marie, Barbara, it was awesome. They Connie.
It was a good time for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so that y'all was having a good time Saturday night.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Were you dancing with us, Dallas?
I a little bit.
That's good. That's good.
Well,
welcome, Joe.
Yeah.
Well, hi there, Joe. Welcome.
You have to unmute yourself, Joel. And Joel is
There
one
you
of
go.
the investigators. Joel, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, and I appreciate y'all bringing me on. I didn't understand exactly how this is working, but this is super awesome. It's great to be here with you. I just have a few minutes. So for those of you who weren't at the conference and didn't get a chance to see it, I am a private investigator, do investigative intelligence, normally fighting human trafficking in general, but justice for exploited individuals wherever I find it. And so me and others that I work with are joining the overall effort to get justice for, I say EXJW community, but really people still in the JW community that are suffering. And my background is in special forces and in police and in tech. and I've been fighting human trafficking in one capacity or the other for over 10 years. And I'm partnering with civil attorneys and district attorneys to get justice wherever we can, and building out all of the individual cases that people bring to us as well as we can, while also putting together the big picture. So that's the short spiel. Didn't come with prepared remarks, but that's what I'm here for.
No,
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, we really appreciate you being at the conference. Did you have a chance to talk to many people?
Yeah, it was both a great chance to talk to a lot of people and also an education. So again, I realize there's people here who weren't there to see it, but I'm not an EXJW. I didn't know anything about the JWs before January, and I started hearing story after story of how lives have been destroyed, and I was galvanized to action. But also a lot of the conference for me was hearing stories and talking to people and understanding the culture. It did resonate with things from my childhood. Even though I wasn't raised as a JW, I was raised in sort of a fringe Christian movement that has some similarities. And I was told other Christians were doing it wrong. I was told not to trust the government or to trust a lot of people. So it resonated. But to your question, yeah, I got to meet a lot of great people, including you. You're a couple tables down from me. And I look forward to meeting more. I know a lot of people couldn't make it, and a lot of people are spread not just across the country, but across the world. And I look forward to making those connections.
Dynamite. Great.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your time to come on too.
Of course,
You know,
glad to be here.
really validates, because these folks have stories and no one ever listened to them. The elders didn't listen. Matter of fact, they got shunned for telling their story, or they got disfellowshipped. Parents didn't listen to them. Their parents shunned them. Many went through deep depression, and some of them took their lives. So we really appreciate the validation.
Yeah, I've told a couple of people, the first thing that I can offer really is believing you and letting you know you're not the crazy ones. You're not crazy. I've been in situations and places before where people that were telling the truth got minimalized and controlled. Domestic violence situations in cases when I was a cop, that's really common and similar, where the victim is then demonized, discredited, gaslit, and told that they're the problem. And a lot of people believe that. And I'm here to believe you, not the ones gaslighting you. And so the extent that I can help and others can help remains to be seen. But I believe you, and my efforts and my interaction with you is proof of the fact that there's a reason that I think that what you're saying is true, and I'm here for it.
Thank you, Joel. How can people get in touch with you? Or you can put the information in the chat, whatever's easier for you.
Yes, the easiest way to get a hold of me is to just email me at my email address. It is joel@implicitgood.com. And I'll type that in the chat here. If maybe someone can copy it into the public one if this is not public.
Yeah, we'll make it available for people too.
And I think Ruby might put it on the screen once it's in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's the best way to reach out and get in touch. And I can put you in touch with Max, who's my lead investigator that is specifically working with the EXJW community to, there you go,
There it is.
perfect.
Thank you very much. Joel@implicitgood.com. Thank you so much.
No problem. And if you go to our website, you won't see a lot there. That's intentional. A lot of what we're doing is kind of behind the scenes. And but that's the way to get a hold of us and to start talking about how we can potentially help you with your case.
Fabulous.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
Joel.
we'll put Max's number up there too. I'll put it in the chat. So if anybody wants to, get their information out, they can get in touch with Max or email you.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I only had a few minutes. I'm super grateful for the opportunity to come on and talk. I'll, if you do more of these in the future, I'll try to cut out more time for it. But
Every
definitely get in
Wednesday.
touch with us if you've been if you've suffered at the hands of the JWs or the Watchtower, we want to help. So reach out and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, thank you. Just for information, we do this every Wednesday, 7 to 10.
Awesome.
Eastern
Great.
Standard Time. Yep.
And it's
Great.
good to see several of you that I saw at the convention. I see you up there, Will. Good to see you again. Star, I saw your message in there. Willow, Stephanie, good to see you. Brian, I know you're here as well. So many people that I met. Dinah, all of you, I appreciate you and I appreciate your courage.
We appreciate you.
We thank you for the help,
Lyle
brother.
Wall said you probably saw the movie Sound of Freedom. Yeah.
Yes, let's
That
let
was-
the
that was
sound of
good,
freedom
huh?
ring here. That's what I have to say about that. So
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
awesome. Thank you all. I
Thank
do have
you.
to
Thank
run.
you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you.
Joe.
Joe.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Joe. Joe.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
The other mysteries. Let's see. So, anyone else interested in sharing something? I know, Joe, you wanted to share something.
We had a theme that was touched on a little bit, and the theme that I just wanted a little short discussion on, and you can fit into it as you will, if you will. It has to do with preaching. Really? I don't have to remind anybody that Jehovah's Witnesses like to let everyone know that they're the only ones in the world that do the preaching work. even though they're not, but they like that distinction. And at the time we made a habit of forcing us upon people at their doors, uninvited. So we were uninvited guests on people's doorsteps or wherever. And we made sure that we did what was called preaching to them. They didn't ask us about it. We felt very, very special to have to tell it to them. And the interesting thing is it's such an imbalanced situation because we, for our part, really wanted to do that and to tell them. And in 99% of the time or more, they, for their part, really did not want to hear it. So that's about the nature of preaching. It's a very important message for people that do not want to hear it. And so we learned that. We know that. And that there's that residue that's left over with the X's sometimes where they feel that maybe a newfound faith that they have, maybe that needs to be preached because now that's the special one. And maybe they're not aware at this point yet that really that destroys relationships, potential relationships. Because most people they really don't want to be preached to. We really don't. I can't think of many people who want to be preached to. But yet, see, on the other hand, the person who's doing the preaching really wants them to hear and to accept. That's a very imbalanced relationship. It makes for stress, distress, and it makes for a repulsive situation rather than an attractive situation. And this is something that, by and large, many have learned and realized. But some of the folks out there are still trying to, figure it out. And what I'd like to think is that there's something else that goes along with preaching, and that's mission. For a person to have a mission now is different than preaching. A mission is something where we need to achieve something of need for someone else. So there's a need and our desires to fulfill it, to go out of our way to actually fulfill that need. It's not preaching. This is serving. It's literally serving. And I'd like to think that many of the friends at the convention learned that there's an opportunity for them to have a mission in whatever form that they can, that their heart impels them to have a mission to go forward and fulfill a need, because there's this tremendous need in the community for people, for friends, a need for true friends with love that conquers so many diseases and ills and suffering and abuses. It's the only thing that'll overcome that. Mm-hmm. And I truly appreciate the opportunity that we had for that convention, for that. I'm glad we were there for that. Mm-hmm. And we continue to put up with those that want to continue to preach. I have faith. I have faith that they will come to realize that there's better ways to make friends and impart value than to preach. It's to be true friends.
Yeah, and to that point, I think that's one of my biggest takeaways from the convention is you're not alone in your fight anymore, especially, fresh coming out or been at it for decades. You're shoulder to shoulder with people now, and that's the fight with. You got people, you got allies. If that's just the fight for healing, or if that's also the fight for a little bit of justice, either way, you got people at your side now. Yeah, amor fati, the love of it all, right? Love of one's fate.
This is Will's book. Will, how can they get a copy of this?
Oh, it's on Amazon.com. That's the only platform that I have it on now. Hopefully, I'll get that expanded at some point. But yeah, it's on Amazon.com. Amor fati, the love of one's fate, an incredible true story going from PTSD to post-traumatic growth. So yeah.
Wow. Well, I like the point you brought out once, and I continue to recall it, and that is that we need to struggle strong.
Yeah, struggle well. Yes, sir. I got that from Boulder Crest Foundation. That's not mine. I stole it from them.
Well, I appreciate you benefiting us with it.
Oh, that's what the whole point of the convention. It's not the whole point, but part of the whole point is sharing what each other has learned.
Yeah.
And different wellness practices, different ways to heal. The more ideas you have, you can pick and choose what things work for you. And then you have more knowledge armed to help other people as well. And I think it was a truly healing event, and I'm pretty sure we can build on it and do some great good in the world.
Absolutely. I know the difference between a victim and a victor is when they start to learn how to struggle well. Because usually they don't know how. Maybe they don't even know what happened to them, let alone anything. But as soon as they can get that glimmer of what do I need to do, I'll do what I need to do, and to enter the struggle. I mean, that in itself is empowering, and it's also inspirational. See, we need to inspire each other with our struggles.
Can I make a comment before I go? I just want to say, I think the support is well needed, and I got the support. And I think the best thing is to know that you're not alone in this battle. That there's others out there that are going through probably worse than what I've ever been through. But thing that really touched my heart was the mother and daughter from Sweden, and the other sister, I'm sorry, calling everybody sisters, and the Korean sister from Australia. I actually went up to them and thanked them for coming, and that it was lovely that they came. And my friend Ed, who was with me, was so blown away by this. He went and he told his daughters, and then he went and told all his golf buddies about the convention.
So beautiful. Nice. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
So he was really.
There was also John there from Wales, and he gave his experience, and he does the cart witnessing over there. I see Del Real Love in the comments. She did her first cart crash. Hi, Debbie.
Hello, Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
And Craig says here. Yes, thank you, Gail. That is so important. We do have the support.
And you know what else was beautiful was having Heather. She stayed an extra day. She left Tuesday, and We had a great time, and we didn't even know each other, but we felt like we've known each other it was kind of like the same concept of the friends can go all over the world and they all know each other.
And
So
that's so true. That is, and we appreciate you putting her up too. And you know, you took her in, and she got a chance to see more of, you know, the East, what it's like.
we went to a jazz bar.
Oh, did ya?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we stayed out till 1 o'clock in the morning. But no, we had a good time, and she left yesterday. So
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
nice. Thank you for hooking us up. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. There was a person that contacted us from Tennessee, and she's very alone. She's near Knoxville. If there's anyone in East Tennessee near Knoxville, please let us know so we can you know, connect her. She's, I think, in her 50s or 60s, and she hasn't been out that long, and she says she doesn't have any friends. So hello, Apasta Babe, Linda.
Hello, Linda.
You're excuse me.
When you can.
You're muted.
When you can, we're listening.
Duh. Okay. Yes, mic was muted. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
You would think one day I'd figure this out, but I haven't.
No.
So yeah, I just I wanted to talk about. I was super bummed that things didn't
I know.
fall together, and that I did, and that I wasn't there. I mean, I was really super bummed. I hated those that I was telling them I'm not going to make it after all. You know, I cried. Okay, I cried. I mean, I was really bummed out, but at the same time, I just wanted to be honest and be like, this is what's happening, and I'm not going to be there. But I got to watch from StreamYard, and I watched you guys kick ass. Okay, and by the way, Susan, I don't know what all you did, but you did a lot, and I could tell. Okay, I know you did. I know we didn't see it, but I know you did. Thank you, Susan, and thank you, Rick. And thank you, everybody that just stepped in and just took part. You know, I watched stuff fall apart. I watched stuff come together, and without a hitch, y'all just rose to the occasion, and it was beautiful to see. Because I've been on, you know, I've done these kinds of things like where someone will get a team together, and I've done like I've been the part of like the liaison, or one time I took care of the lunch for the whole team, you know, so it is a team effort, and to do everything that got done to this time without a, you know, a bigger, huge, well, it doesn't have to be huge, but a bigger group of people that responsibilities could be delegated to, it makes sense that it was, you know, some of the things just fell.
Whoops, you're cutting out, Apasta Babe.
Okay, am I
Now
back?
it's better. Yep, you're okay. You're okay.
Okay. Today is like even a debriefing, you know, talking about what went right, and, you know, things that fell apart and why. And I just really, where I was sitting, I really appreciated it. I really appreciated it.
So good. It's so good. Yeah, Rick did a wonderful benefit for us, whether we were there or watching.
That's right.
Joe, can I address
can you still hear me?
Yes, we kind of, yes, Matt, but hang on just 1 second. Linda?
Right.
Linda?
Yes.
Oh, were you going to say something?
I was going to say, as far as preaching, you know, yes, we were taught that, you know, we're the only ones that did this. Well, after I left, I spent many years still having the mindset of, if I'm going to get back right with God, I'll be going back to the Kingdom Hall, you know? So, but it wasn't until I met some people that were apostates, that weren't the demons that I had been raised to believe that they were, right? And what happened was, they were simply my friend. That's what they did. They were my friend. And
Oops. Keep trying. You're cutting out a little bit. I think Linda was saying that the magic is to be a friend. A friend.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, if they want to talk spiritual stuff, biblical stuff, go there with them, or let them know what your thoughts are about the Bible. And it's in the organization, we didn't get to be our authentic self.
No.
And
No.
and just encouraging someone to develop
That's right.
who they truly are and support them in it. That person that we weren't allowed to be, that was squashed.
That's right.
Whenever we would, get involved with your own self-interests, it was always squashed, and we were told to put Jehovah's, plans before our own, and that we can do that in the new system, right? Well, when you find someone that's leaving the organization, kind of ask them at times to zone into what they like, what they want to do,
That's right.
and encourage them to do that. And sometimes people that leave a cult or any of these high control groups, they have not done much self-care.
Right.
So sometimes they don't even know how to go shopping to get a dress that looks right on them. So go with them to Ross or someplace to get a dress, or something, or you know what I'm saying? Just be a supportive friend.
Linda, if I can characterize what you just said, rather than promoting something to the other person, we're actually promoting each other. In other words, we're promoting that person.
Yes.
In mutual promotion, because otherwise we're requiring the other person to be someone they're not, and that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good. No.
Looks like Gary just joined us.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank
Hi,
you, Linda.
Gary.
Hang in there.
Hang in there.
Sure.
Hello,
Just
Gary.
before Linda goes, Linda, are you able just to say, just for half a minute?
Matthew, yes, I want to hear from you. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Well, it's a personal message to a passed away, but Linda James, thank you very much for your support and reaching out. I owe you apologies, but I also owe you thanks as well, because you live by the words that you've actually just spoken there. So thank you very much. So I don't want to dominate it, but I just want to give you thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate you.
And the same goes for Dallas too. I seem to be a bit louder than I should be, but Dallas, thank you very much as well. The same applies to you. You also were working intuitively, and I'm very grateful. Thank you. That's all. Thank you, Joe and Fran.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you for joining us. We want to say hi to Gary. Gary just came on. He was one of the speakers at our EXJW convention. So we're just kind of giving our feelings and thoughts and what we took away from it, Gary. Okay, we can't hear you.
There we go. Is that better?
There you go.
Okay. No, thank you so much for the invite, Joe and Fran. Sorry about the delay. Really,
That's okay. No problem.
Rick, good to see you, and yeah, it's good to be here.
Same here. Can you hear us okay?
I can.
Okay. Yeah, we were just giving our thoughts, positive, negative, about the convention, what you experienced.
Well, a number of people have asked me that, and the first response I give, was quite emotional, way more emotional than I anticipated it being that way. Just to realize the amount of pain in that room, it's it's mind-boggling. It really, really is mind-boggling. Really mind-boggling. Yeah, just it shows that the tentacles, the ripple effect, the after effect of leaving that cult is it's nothing to be passed over as something simple. It's serious, no question about it.
Yeah, we saw you several times talking to people privately because what are you considered, Gary? A life coach or inspirational speaker? What's your title?
Pretty much just a business and life strategist.
And great guy.
Very kind of you.
Yeah, we enjoyed talking with you, and you're very empathic.
Thank you. Yeah, your stories. Oh my gosh, that definitely. You saw my eyes water on that one. Geez, just to bring those babies into the world and have them treat you that way. It's it's an awful thing. Awful thing. In fact, I just got off the phone with Barbara and Tommy, and I was talking to them about what would be involved in getting some kind of congressional hearing.
Oh,
I think that would be a very big,
wow.
big next move. So I'm speaking to a publicist who, in fact, if my memory serves me, she used to be in the cult years and years ago.
Wow.
So I reached out to her on Facebook. I'm going to reach out to her again to see if she can help out with that and figure out what would be the best angle to get something done.
Wow.
But yeah, this definitely needs some type of congressional attention.
Yeah, earlier, Gary, Stephanie came on and she had some good news.
Yeah.
Do you want to repeat it, Stephanie? Because some are just coming on for the first time.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Gary. How are you? I'm working with Tom and Barbara too.
Where's Stephanie at? Is she on live or?
Yeah, she's in the box.
Waving my hand.
There you are. Okay, there you are. Yes, I think your name came up.
Oh yeah. I'm working with them too. So yeah, it's an inspiration to see, the troops mobilizing. No, the good news that I was going to share was how serendipitous. Did they tell you about the serendipity of their trip yesterday in New York? We've got a future meeting with the children's rights group with them, and then the human rights center. All Barbara has to do at this point is just send a letter, and boom, we've got an attorney working for us from there, which is the equivalent of like the attorney general investigating, but at a different level. They investigate these crimes. Human rights are, the top of the food chain.
Sure.
So we've made it.
No, that's good. That's good news.
That is miraculous. Okay, miraculous.
I call you to give you the good news. So call me in the next couple days, and we'll talk about how you can get involved. Okay, because I know this is right down your alley.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We want to welcome Beth and Dan and Stefan. Got a lot of people on tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I know Stefan was there. We got to meet Stefan, and Dan was there. Oh, I think we lost Dan. Hey, come on back, Dan, if you can. And Seth and Felicia.
Hey guys, I'm a little under the weather here in the Ozarks tonight, but I did get to live stream. I just want to first off just thank Rick so much for putting this together. My wife and I, we've been out for about nearly 2 years now, and this past week has been one of the hardest in our life since leaving, and a lot of family opposition and a lot of things going down there. But on top of that, we had other things going. You can probably hear our loud 2-year-old in the background.
Say hi, Dakota. Hi, we hear you.
Oh, he's running in here.
Yeah, this
Say
is a
hi.
family. This is a family show.
Come here, Coco. You want to say hi to everybody?
Hi.
Hi, everybody. So we watched all 3 days worth and nearly every second worth what we could, and I can tell you, it was magnificent. We haven't felt so united, felt like we've had so much family. We have cried and cried and cried. Getting through these things. There was a lot of pain, as Gary brought up. But Gary, I've still got your quotes written down on the wall and there on my marker board. I was so thankful to hear some of those things, and but everyone's stories, it's just absolutely amazing. So I really am thankful that this convention was held. Thank you so much, Rick, for putting this together. I can't imagine the countless hours it took, but I'm thankful. My wife is thankful. I got a sorry, little bit of teary-eyed now, but we're just thankful. And I just wanted to stop by and say, no, not everything ran perfectly. We know there were some hiccups along the way, but from everything we saw, it was as great could be, and we appreciated it. The only thing that would make it better is if you do it in the middle of the country next time. We can get there. We're poor. We can't go too far.
Well, thank you very much for saying that.
Nice.
I'll tell you what, we have thought about Chicago. A number of people wrote me and say, Rick, if you do this again, do it out in Chicago. So that's a possibility. That's a possibility, brother. But thank you and your wife for watching in. Thank you.
It was amazing. Thank you.
Hang in there.
Gary, someone made a comment. They said, what resolution camera do you have? It looks really good.
Oh, I have a very professional setup here. You can see Canon C100 with lighting and everything. It's for
Wow.
work. So
Right. We want to say hi to Dan. Dan was there from Rhode Island.
Yeah, I wanted to tell Rick, are you hearing me?
yeah, we can hear you.
Because I'm having some reception problems. But anyways, Rick, excellent job. What I noticed though, a lot of people were damaged. A lot of people with a lot of trauma, and some were triggered. And of course, there were people of different backgrounds like myself. I'm over it, and I'm doing well. So I was able to have a little bit more of a fun time with the dancing and everything. And I got to hand it to Al Smith, the one-man band guy. He just lifted everybody's spirits. He was wonderful.
Yeah, he was great.
Also, I think everybody has been focusing on what happened inside the building, but outside in the hall and outside near the fire pit, so many people had a chance to go outside, network, and talk at a more personal level. And so actually there were two conventions going on at the same time. There was the one inside for the information, and there was one on the outside where people got to get together and meet others that have similar issues with that organization. So it was valuable, not only inside, but it was valuable for people to gather in the hallways and talk things out, because really all we did as Jehovah's Witnesses, we went to the conventions, we sat there and kept silent. This one, we were actually able to participate, and I loved that whole thing. And there's only one negative, and that is I could not get any sleep. I couldn't sleep. It was nobody's fault. It was just the fact that I could not sleep. Too much was on my mind. And I would do another one. And I'm not bragging, but I'm the one that won the lottery.
Oh, he won.
Oh, you were the one,
You
Dan?
did?
Oh,
No.
they mentioned Dan. Very nice. Well,
Good
congratulations.
for you. And
Very
where
nice.
I
And
was, where I was sitting, you were busting a move. By the way, I saw you dancing, and you can dance. Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My good days are paying off. But the important thing, when I won that, I did not buy those tickets expecting to win. I more or less considered, this is a donation. He deserves whatever comes his way. And I think maybe there's got to be a way to fund it a little bit better. So, because I don't think it would be fair if Rick had to fund all of this himself. Maybe we could be creative with raising some funds for an upcoming event. But all the while, I mean, even with the difficulties, I think it was perfectly perfect, even though it wasn't perfect. Just like the other guy said, there was nothing I could pick on because it is what it was. I just wish more people had been able to get there. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was, they had their struggles and everything, but the ones that came really, enjoyed it, and the others watched it online.
Yeah, they're going to benefit
So,
from it online too.
yeah, no one missed it. So that was good.
Yeah, just for the sake of those coming on too, Fran and Joe, it's hard to get a count of the people, but for the last couple of months, I was projecting anywhere from 300 to 500 people. Now, we had 3 days, as I mentioned earlier, and I tried to count as many people as I could. Now, some people would come in, like, for example, I met numerous people that came in just out of the blue, that they listened for a couple of talks and they left. One particular a man and a woman, they were just getting out of the Jehovah's Witnesses. They were curious. They drove down from Maine, which is about 3 hours away. So they drove down, but they weren't too comfortable in there because they were still PMOs. So they came in, they listened to a couple of talks and left. So I tried to count for the 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I tried to come as close as I possibly could. How many people were really there? It was kind of hard to tell. But from what I can get, cumulatively, now not counting the same person twice, but Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I came up with 348 to 352, so somewhere in there. Those were the amount of people that were at the convention. So that wasn't too bad. I was projecting somewhere around there. So we met the projection. So I feel pretty good about that.
That's tremendous, Rick.
Rick,
tremendous.
all the work you did getting that hotel.
Yeah.
We had no negative thoughts on that hotel. The breakfast was delicious. The rooms were immaculate. The people there that worked there were so friendly and so nice. There was a bar there. You could order food if you wanted to.
Yeah.
They were very accommodating, and you really did a good job working with them because that took a lot.
Well, thank you. They had they were giving me some issues. I told them that there was going to be a movie filmed on the premise, and they kind of just took it in stride. They didn't realize the movie company was going to be that big. They thought it might have just been like a rinky-dink movie.
Yeah.
But they had a 12-member crew there, and this is going to hopefully be on Netflix. And I've been working right along with the directors and producers. But when they came in, they came last Monday, 4 or 5 days before the convention. And the Hilton Hotel had a conniption. Oh my goodness, there's a movie crew. And they were filming all around the Hilton. They were filming all around Tewksbury for the movie. They wanted to kind of give a little ambiance for the whole movie they're making. So Hilton approached me and said, "Who are these people?" I said, "I told you there's going to be a movie," but they didn't think it was going to be of that magnitude. So they had me signing all kinds of release papers. The producer and myself got together. I mean, I told them I'm not part of the movie. I'm running the convention, but they almost were talking to me like I was the producer. I said, "I'm not the producer. This is something different." And so I got that across to them. But boy, I'll tell you, the rules were signing all kinds of paperwork and dotting all the T's. I'm dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's. And they said, "No, don't," one of the big wheels there at the convention was a woman. And she's saying, "Oh, don't dare film the sign. Don't put the Hilton." I'm thinking, what a great way to get advertising. But they did not want the Hilton to be seen in the movie. And, because they said the nature of what we were speaking about, they want Jehovah's Witnesses to be customers too, because the week before was a Jehovah's Witness convention. So they were kind of thinking, well, we don't want to run the witnesses away from here. So you got to be very careful. And they also said, don't film people. Part of the movie, part of the plot was they were going to have these two former Jehovah's Witness people, a man and woman, Becky and her husband, were going to be walking into the lobby of the Hilton. Don't do that. They said, don't you film out there, because the thing is, what if there's a man and a woman, and the man is married, but he's with another woman, and now all of a sudden they see you on Netflix. I mean, this could be, a real problem. So they really were very cautious. Don't film this. Now they said in the auditorium, or the room that we were in doing the talks and what have you, they said you can film to your heart's content, but you got to be very careful with that. Now I had this big 26-foot U-Haul truck that I rented, and I had this big sign on the side of it on both sides.
Yeah, if you can
And
put that
so-
picture back up, Rick. We
Yeah,
have the
go ahead,
picture
yeah.
up. If they can do it, either Shauna or Ruby. I don't know who has the pictures. But go ahead, Rick. I'm sorry.
So anyways, they said, no, I put that truck right out there in front of the hotel. Oh, they had a heart attack about the truck. They called me up. This is during the convention. Rick, you got to move that truck. Get that truck out of there. Now there it is right there. You can see it. Now that truck right there that's one side of it. But the other side said, what are Jehovah's Witnesses hiding behind? Find out. But that sign there showed all the different speakers. So I had that out in front of the Hilton. It really wasn't even on their land. But man, they were having a conniption about that. Get that truck moved. Get it out of here. Rick, they said, we're going to be very neutral here. We can't, we can't go in one way and have you get, talking about the witnesses. Plus we have the witnesses that come here. We're going to be very careful with that. So I moved the truck. I got that. I mean, who wouldn't? I understood,
Yeah.
And I think these were some T-shirts you were selling, Rick.
Yeah, those are the
Still alive in
T-shirts.
2025.
Yeah, those are the T-shirts. And if anyone wants one of those T-shirts, I'll send you one. Send me your address and your physical address. I'll send you one. Get into the Six Screens website. Scroll down to the bottom. Go sixscreensthewatchtower.com. Scroll down to the bottom. Make a donation. I don't care if you make $2, $10, whatever you want. Make a donation. Give me your address. I'll send you a nice T-shirt. And they're good quality T-shirts. Really, they're not cheap T-shirts. They're really good.
And this was the stage that you set up.
Yeah, that sign there, you might notice some of the words were spelled wrong on that. We were doing things in a hurry and we had some typos, but we had a bunch of signs there, and then the movie company wanted that. They said, Rick, the more graphics, the better. And they filmed that the opening of the movie was the truck coming in. They filmed us unloading the truck. He said, now, Rick, when you unload the truck, hold up some banners, and we want that. They really like the idea of the graphics. That's Al right there. That's the one-man band. That's Al Smith. Boy, what a talented man he is. I'll tell you that. Yeah. Really.
And that's Marjorie with him.
Yeah, that's his wife.
She's a dear heart.
Beautiful. Man, what a beautiful guy and his wife. I'll tell you, those are genuine people. Genuine people.
Rick and family, can you guys hear me okay?
Hello, Stefan.
Oh, Stefan.
Hello.
Hello, Stefan.
Hello, Stefan.
Hello. I just wanted to chime in here. I saw you guys were live. I was driving, so it took me a little while to pull over and see what was going on. But in any event, if you guys remember when we used to be witnesses and we would go to an assembly, circuit, or district, we would just be aglow with the spirit, as they say, for a couple of days. It seemed like your feet don't even touch the ground. That's that same feeling I have right now. I had such a good time. I really didn't know what to expect, but I did know at least I'd be able to meet some of my heroes and then some, and I did. It was a pleasure meeting Mr. Fran and his lovely wife. It was a pleasure meeting Uncle Joe and Aunt Fran, as I like to call them, Miss Anderson. And that was about all I was really expecting to see. And then when I saw some of the other people, that was just wonderful. And I walked in the door. I was late, Apasta Babe, if you're still on, you're going to appreciate this. I literally got stuck, had to spend the night in the airport, had to then get up at 5:30 in the morning with zero sleep and rent a car and drive from Baltimore to Boston in order to make that convention. And I have to say it was worth every mile. I just was blown away at how well organized it was. Just, one person after the next and all their wonderful comments. I was just blown away. And it's just amazing how you can just build such a rapport. I mean, Gary, who I've never met, talked to ever in life, Gary stole a French fry off my plate. Now, you know how you have to like a person to let him take a fry, and you have to like a person to even think you can take one. But that's how quick, we all bonded. And I just want to finish by saying there was a gentleman there that I met named Tommy. And Tommy said something extremely profound that's just been resonating in my head. Tommy said that we are each other's tribe. We are our own tribe. And we have to continue to build that and draw close to one another and widen out and embrace one another. And it's kind of funny. I think when he said it, he probably had no idea of the impact because it's so true. We are, in a lot of respects, kind of all we have because nobody else understands what we've gone through and are going through as a part of being in that cult. We're the only ones that understand that, and we're doing what needs to be done, which is coming together. And again, we thank Rick. I know he's probably tired of it. His head is probably too big to fit through the doorway now because of all his compliments, but we really have to thank him. But it still takes a village of people, and we are that village. We are brothers and sisters and family to each other because a lot of us, like myself, really don't have anybody else. So it was wonderful to be there, whether you were there virtually or not, but it was certainly wonderful to be there in person. And I just wanted to say how much I enjoyed it and all the things that were discussed. And I think it was Gary or another gentleman. He talked about some of the pain that was in the room, and he's so very true. But unfortunately, that's part of it, and that's another reason why we need to be there for each other. So thank everybody for letting us have a place to go. Thank you for having me, and know that I'm a part of this village. And if anybody needs to talk, Uncle Joe, Aunt Fran, put my contact information out there because we all need each other. And this weekend was just a grand reminder. Watchtower is not going to defeat us because we're not going to let them. So we're going to be there for each other.
Absolutely.
Stefan, just want to thank you for making sure Nadine got to the airport because that was very much concern of hers and Anne Marie. So you were you were a real gentleman. I'm telling you, you took away all her anxiety and you stayed right with her until she boarded the plane. So we really appreciate you doing that.
It was a pleasure. Anne Marie was another one that I was really looking forward to meeting. So I'm glad I got a chance to do something for her. I'm sad that I missed Eric and his wife. I don't remember her name. I never met her, but I've talked to Eric a number of times on the phone. So I guess we'll catch up with each other one of these days. But yeah, I had a ball, and hopefully we can do something like this maybe every couple of years, and it doesn't have to be organized by Rick and on his dime, certainly. But we all need to pitch in and do our part. Rick has shown us the way. He's shown us that it can be done and how well it can be done. So now it's our turn to grab that ball and run with it as an EXJW witness community.
Thank you, Stefan. If we could just go back to that picture with the big family, I just wanted to mention, it was just I think you just showed it. If you can go backwards. That was a picture of, okay, there it is. Okay, so that's Audrey on the left, and that's Fritz Springmeyer and his beautiful family and wife, and they traveled by van all the way from Kansas. It took a couple days, but he's got a beautiful family. He's got 4 children, and his wife. We got the chance to talk to her, and very supportive. So that's Fritz Springmeyer. And then Eric, you see Eric on the right, and those are Audrey's children, son and daughter. So Eric and Audrey were only there on Friday because they drove down from Maine, and Eric was the first person we saw when we got out of the car, and we go, Eric? And he came over, we gave each other a big hug. That's the second time we've met Eric. So glad to see them all there. Thank you for showing the pictures. As we get more pictures, if anybody wants to share their pictures of the convention, you can send them to us or Shauna or Ruby or whoever so we can display them. Looks like Star is here. Star, are you still on? Where'd Star go? Okay, she was on. Gary had to leave. He had another commitment. But yeah, we're all here if anybody wants to say anything. These were some comments that I heard. Oh, was
I
someone going to
just
say something?
want to say to Stefan that I'm really glad you made it there. Whatever you had to do, you made it there, and I'm really glad to hear you were there. So thanks for telling me about it.
Yes, thank you. It was quite harrowing. For a while there, I don't know what.
Well, I think you have two things running, Stefan. You've got some kind of echo.
I think
I think he's out now. Star, yes, Star's here.
Hello.
Star.
Hi.
Star, do you have
Hi,
two
Star.
things running? You got to turn off your YouTube.
That's off.
Hello, Star.
Hello. I'm actually gonna have to go and pick up. I'm having dinner with my son, and I'm meeting
No, it
him.
sounds
So
good. Well, thank you for joining us.
I love you guys. Everything was wonderful. It was so good to meet such understanding, on the same page people. I mean, I can't even. My heart is so filled, and thank you, Rick. It was a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to put what you did together. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Star.
Yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot. I love you guys.
Good to
I gotta
see
keep
you.
going. Okay, I'm going to have dinner with my son.
Right.
Okay.
Well, take care of that.
Hi.
Bye.
I think Nadine is back.
Hi. Yes, but I think Stefan's gone, right?
No, he's here.
No, I'm back. I got booted out, but I'm back.
Oh, hi, Stefan. I just wanted to
Hi,
say.
Nadine.
Stefan.
Hey, Dallas. How you doing, buddy?
Good hearing from you. I heard where you're
You
from,
too.
and I want to tell you something. I'm native to Pennsylvania.
You made it to Pennsylvania?
I am from Pennsylvania.
Ah, okay. So you're from
South
Pennsylvania, and I'm
Central
from Illinois.
Pennsylvania.
And
But
I'm
you
from
live
Illinois.
but you live in the East Coast.
No, I live in the Midwest. I'm in Illinois.
But you flew into the East Coast before you end up in Boston.
Yeah, I got as far as Baltimore. They flew me to the Carolinas for reasons I still don't understand, and then to Baltimore, and then this was Friday night. Excuse me, this was Thursday night, and then they told me they could not get me to Boston until Saturday. So from Friday night to Thursday night, they couldn't get me there until Saturday. So that's when I said I'll rent a car and drive up. So that's what happened there.
And so you flew into where I'm very familiar, and because of having relatives in one of them in Central Maryland, aunt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I was definitely there.
And also, I live in North Carolina too.
Oh, okay.
Right now.
All right. Well, I was there. I was in the airport about 8 hours, so you could have came to visit.
Well, Stefan, I have to tell you, boy, you
Yes, sir.
really hustled around to get there, renting a car, because when you were in Baltimore, you were close to 500 miles away. That was a long drive.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it was 6.5 hours.
Oh yeah, well,
6.5
good for
hours.
you.
So.
But I also
Yeah.
got information from other people that couldn't make it. They were very disappointed. They had to go home. They had to go home. They couldn't
Sure.
come because of the weather of all times, right? And plus, also we had people, they have the new federal aircraft ID number you need to fly, and a number of people too, they didn't have that. So they wouldn't let them on the plane, so they couldn't come here. So that happened as well. But I'll tell you what,
Wow.
it was, oh yeah, no, it was really something. People, I'll tell you what, in fact, I went down, well, I won't go into it too deep here, but Anne Marie got stranded. She was missing in action. Anne Marie, just for the sake of those listening in here, well, we were helping her to get up here to the convention. So she actually wasn't sure she could go until the very last minute. So we had to book her a flight the day before the convention. So we booked her the flight, and I said, Anne Marie, get on this plane, get your husband to take you to San Jose, California airport and get on. So she got on the aircraft. But the thing is, she forgot her telephone. She didn't bring her phone. And so she had the whole itinerary on there. She couldn't communicate with me. So, I figured, well, how was this going to happen? Because I was going to get her at the airport, but I wasn't even sure where she'd be. So come to find out, the plane coming from San Jose couldn't make it to Boston. So it had to land in Chicago. So it was there for 2 days. So she was sleeping on a chair in the airport for 2 days, but her husband called me frantically. Where's Anne Marie? Well, I says, Jeff, I don't know. I can't talk to her. She doesn't have the phone. And it was just a real nightmare. So we were really concerned about Anne Marie all that time. And then I went down to the airport twice during the convention. I got up real early in the morning to go down and see if I could find her twice. And I couldn't find her. I took a walk all through it was all through the Southwest airline terminal looking for her, and I could not find her. And finally, I got a call from her husband. Anne Marie went to the Southwest clerk and told him the dilemma that she was having. So the clerk got a hold of us. He said, look, if you can text me the Uber driver's license number. I didn't know you could do this, but we did find out. We got the Uber driver who would pick her up license number, wrote back to Southwest Airlines, and they said, okay, she's going to be outside waiting. So he sent an Uber back and picked her up at noontime Saturday. But we were so relieved to see that she got here because nobody had any idea where Anne Marie was.
Yeah, that sounds like quite the challenge, I tell you.
Rick,
But I tell you, Rick, it was worth every minute because Dick and Connie, I took a picture with Connie, and Connie said this is a once in a lifetime thing, and that's kind of how I felt. And you just can't put a price tag on that. So it was worth every minute. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Well, I'm so glad you did, Stefan. So glad you did. And it was so good to meet you, too. And you're such a nice man, such a nice, humble man. I thought you were going to be.
Hey, Rick, I got to tell everybody the joke I was going to pull, and then I chickened out. Rick has never seen me, right? The first person I see when I arrived at that hotel was Rick, and he was over in the distance, and I said, "Oh, there's Rick." And that bad side of me said, I'm going to go and introduce myself as a representative of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society and harass him. And as I thought about it, I was walking to him and I said, no, I'm not going to do that to him. So I just walked up and introduced myself.
Well, I was so pleased to meet you, Stefan. It really made my day. It really did. And boy, the effort you made to get there, thank you for doing that. My goodness, you're a good guy.
Not a problem.
And
Hi, Nadine.
And
Did you make it home okay?
Yes, I did. Thank you so much. You were
Awesome.
such a comfort because I was like, oh my gosh, that airport gets crazy. And then on Sunday, it was so crowded, and to go through security. And then you went and took the rental back. And then you said, text me and tell me where you're at. And then you came and met me. And so you really followed through on everything that you said. And I appreciate it. And my big concern now is, did Anne Marie make it home? Because I've been trying to call her, but I can't. The phone just hangs up. So does anybody know, Rick, do you know if Anne Marie made it home?
Nadine, what happened was things didn't work out on Sunday. She got on. She was at the wrong terminal, and she ended up all day Monday, we were with on the phone with her husband Jeff, trying to locate her, finding out which flight she was on, if she was on one at all. But eventually, we found out, and she got home, and we haven't heard since then. And sometimes her phone, because it's like one of those cheaper phones, doesn't always work that well. So you might have to try a couple more times to see if you can get a hold of her.
Yeah, well,
Right,
just
because
what happened is at 11:57, which would have been Monday night, her husband called me and says, "Rick, I got her," and that was good. What
okay,
happens is
good.
when we made reservations for her, because she missed her flight back. She missed her flight back, so we had to make new reservations. So we made reservations for her to fly on Southwest. But come to find out, she was on Delta. So that really wasn't her fault. She didn't know. But I'm glad that she did find Delta. But I'm going to tell you, Nadine, you're right. It's a real hassle. The airports, I'll tell you what, I don't have any desire to get on an airplane. When I went down to the Southwest looking for Anne Marie and I stood in that line, and, people, you have a husband and wife that was in front of me, and the clerk saying, well, you might not be able to fly together, or there's only one seat here, and it's not flying out for 2 days. Everybody was getting so messed up. Who needs that? My
I
goodness.
know. And I
Yeah.
have a little story, Rick. When I
Yeah.
went through security, I had my little black boots on, and they have like a little metal gold like detail on the back. Well, so I set the machine off so I had to take my shoes off, but also it showed up that I had something like in my pants or something. So I had to be patted down, and the girl's like, "Do you want to do it here, or you want to go somewhere private?" And I'm like, "No, just do whatever you have to do." So it was like I had to take my shoes off, which now you don't have to, but my boots set off the machine. And then, they had to they thought I had something in my clothes, but of course I didn't.
And
So
the
I
funny
told
thing
Stefan
is,
that.
that the girl who patted Nadine down didn't even work for the airport. She just thought Nadine was cute.
Oh no.
You know what I hear, Nadine, when I hear your story?
Uh-huh.
I hear how blessed we are that we don't have to put our shoes on to go through security anymore. But at the same time, Rick's telling me people are missing their flights because we need more some kind of security on our
Right.
identification.
Right.
You know, they lock us up further, but give us a little freedom on the back end.
Well, see,
Exactly.
I was going to wear my sandals, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to have to walk fast, and I have to have a good shoe on my foot. So I had a feeling I might set off the machine because I set it off when I went to Las Vegas in March. And so I thought, well, maybe I'm going to because there's a little detail on the back of my boot. And sure enough, I did. And then they thought it lit up like in different areas that I had something in my clothes. So I'm like, oh, well, okay, whatever. So she says, should I do it here? And I go, I don't care. Just do what you have to do because I want to get to my plane, you know? And so it was kind of funny, but it was so
Hmm.
crowded. It was so crowded on Sunday. And
Yep.
so, anyways, and then Anne Marie was following me, and then I lost her and because it was so crowded, but she couldn't fly back until Monday anyways. So I don't know what happened to her, but I apologize if you're listening, Anne Marie. I'm sorry that I lost you, but I'm glad you got home safely. And I
Well,
got to know Anne Marie. I really like her. She's great.
well, she's a funny girl, and
She
I'll tell you
is.
what though, Nadine, I wanted to tell the people, and I give you credit too. This was your first time flying out to the East Coast, and you were a real trooper. I know you were a little nervous. We had a shuttle. I took a van that I have, and I put some signs on the side of it that said 6 screens Boston, so that people would know because we're picking people up at the airport. So Nadine came in on Thursday night. It was pouring rain. I mean, you couldn't believe it. It was raining all day long, like you would never seen it before. So I had the man that was working with me. I said, now go down and pick this lady up. Her name is Nadine. Go down to the airport and get her. And the man really didn't have much experience driving in Boston. So we got to the airport and he was having a panic attack. It was raining and he couldn't find Nadine. I says, you got to find her. You got to find her. She's there in South. What airline you come in on? It was
JetBlue.
a JetBlue. I says, just go to
Mhm.
JetBlue. Rick, I can't take it. I can't even see. It's raining so hard. So he's looking for poor Nadine. So Nadine was getting very nervous that, where are you, Rick? So finally we did find her and got her back. But weren't you glad to find some people you knew, Nadine? You were very nervous, huh?
Oh yes, and when David showed up, I'm like, oh my God, I've never been so happy to see someone in my life. And I got to know David really well. You know, we had the drive back, and it was rainy, and then, you know, he's great. I just said, you are so fantastic. Thank you so much. I was so glad he came and got me because I
Well,
was
that worked
getting
out good.
nervous
Yeah, no,
because
it would make you
yeah.
nervous. I mean, really, anybody would be. A man would be kind of nerved up over all that. But you were a real trooper, Nadine. Good job, and I'm glad you got back safely.
Okay. Yes, I am too. And it was a great experience. And I met so many nice people. And I was so glad to meet Stefan because I hear him on the phone every week talking to you. And he has the best comments. I really appreciate it. And he was great. And I met a lot of people, and I have their contacts. And there's some people I met from California, and it was great. And Anne Marie, who knew? I really like Anne Marie. She's great. And so I'll call in on her show from now on. I'll say hi to her.
There you go.
Yeah,
Mi-
I had a great
Mr.
time.
Farron, I just
Yes.
have one question for you. Have you been able to get some rest? Because I was really worried about you.
Well, Monday we had Dick and Constance and Scott and Nadine. They were doing the
Sound.
the sound system and the video for us. So we all went off
Oh,
to.
okay.
They wanted to see some historic spots here in Massachusetts. So we went down to
Ah,
Plymouth. We went down to Plymouth Rock. So they got to see that. They were looking to see
okay.
that. So we went there, then we took them through Boston area. Then they wanted to see the USS Constitution. That's actually the first naval ship ever in the history of America. That was in Boston. And then they wanted to see the battlegrounds where the Revolutionary War started. We showed them that.
Bunker
In
Hill.
Bunker Hill, where Paul Revere ran
Sure.
with the horse all the way. He rode for 12 miles all the way
Yep.
out to Concord. And so
Yep.
they got a kick out of that. But that's where the whole country started, right up here in Massachusetts.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I thought I'd be able to see a little bit of that myself because I was hoping to be there on Thursday, but I'll do it a different time.
Yeah, you get up here
So
again. We'll
they,
take you for a special tour. We'll take you for the Six Screens tour, Stefan.
there you go.
Yeah,
I'll get to see all 6 screens.
you got it.
And
I'll tell you what though, I'm very pleased. I left those signs on the side of the car, and I'm just hoping someone's going to say, "What is that all about?" Boy, it's going to give me a chance to
Mhm.
start talking, and then I'm going to start talking about it.
You, you know what? On that note, when I got back to the airport after I dropped the 2 queens off, I still had my badge on. And all through the airport, from the TSA people and everybody, they just kept looking down at my shirt, and I forgot I had the badge on. And I was thinking to myself, what are these people looking at? And then I looked down and I said, oh, they're reading the badge. But everybody read that badge. Like the guy barely checked my ID to get through security because he was so busy reading the badge. He really barely even looked at me. He read that whole badge. And I said, well, I'm going to leave it because, like you said, it'll bring a little bit of attention to our cause. But yeah, those even just the badges caught people's attention. Everybody read that badge.
Well, I tell you, it's all working out, and more people. I invited numerous newspapers. I gave them the press release. We didn't get them. We did get one though. A local newspaper did give us a write up. So that was good. They talked about the convention, so that was good. But I
Okay.
tried to get the Boston Globe. I tried to get the New York Times, but nope, nothing. So we'll see what happens. Maybe next time when we do it again, if we have, if we ever have 1,000 people, I think that really would get the press's attention.
Sure. Yep. Absolutely.
Rick,
Absolutely.
Rick, a little more publicity. You know, our local radio station that we've been on at WIBX with Bill Keeler, we told him about the XJW convention and he was off for 2 weeks, but he would like to interview you. So maybe he's on every morning from 6:30 till 9. So maybe he can do an interview with you. We'll get you connected.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'd love to do it, Fran. Love to do it. Yes. That'd be great.
And you know, the ex-sister from Australia, the Korean sister, her name is Susan. She was so sweet. And I was talking to her, and then I introduced her to Yvonne Samilia. And Yvonne and Vinny were there, along with Frank. And they just lived down in close by. What's that? Lemonster. So anyway, they got talking, and Susan said she was going to go tour Boston. And they said, well, who are you going to go with? She goes, I'll just go by myself. So Yvonne took it upon herself to go to the hotel and pick her up. And she took her all over Boston. They spent the day. And then what did they do? Then she took her to her son's house. Her son just had a baby and got to meet the family. But they spent the day in Boston and had a really good time. So I thought that was nice of Yvonne to do that.
Boy, that was nice. In fact, Monday morning, I went to pick up Constance and Dick and Nadine and Scott, and she was there, and we were talking to Susan from Australia. But, you know, Susan came up to me, the Korean lady, and she says, Rick, I've got a story. So he's telling me a story, and I want her to come on the 6 screens and tell it. I won't go into any detail, but she was telling me about a mother in Korea that had 2 children that wanted to leave the Jehovah's Witnesses. They didn't want to be Jehovah's Witnesses anymore, and the mother killed them. The mother killed them.
Oh my God.
And I'm not going to go into how she did it, but it was very graphic and very terrible.
Goodness.
But can you imagine that the mother actually killed the 2 kids because they didn't want to be Jehovah's Witnesses? That is unbelievable.
Oh my God.
That is
Well, I
not
think-
surprising to me, because if they die
Yeah.
before Armageddon, they have a
Exactly.
hope for the resurrection. You see?
That's exactly right.
Yes, Thomas. Yeah,
we-
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. We had that happen right here in the United States just a few years ago, but the same thing. The mom had some
Lauren-
kind of a nervous break or something.
Lauren
And
Stewart.
she killed her kid because, like you said, if you kill them before they Armageddon, they'll be faithful or whatever the viewpoint is. And so, yeah, I mean, you know, we can't fully blame that on Watchtower. Clearly, that is a person with some psychological issues, but being in a cult definitely doesn't help.
And what a nice lady she was. And then coming all the way from Australia. And then I didn't realize it, but again, we had there was the blonde lady there, you saw her, and then she had another woman with her. That was her daughter.
Her daughter.
So I met them. I was, trying to meet as many people as I can. And they said they came all the way from Sweden. I said, well, why don't you let everybody know? They were so shy, but they came all that way. I couldn't believe it to come to the convention.
She said her children paid her way. It was their gift to her because they knew how much she wanted to go. And her daughter that was with her is pregnant, and she was never a witness, but they just were supporting their mother, and it was just so beautiful to see that.
I tell you, the gentleman that spoke, he was kind of a shorter African American gentleman. He also had a wife who had never been a witness, but he spoke on your program, Mr. Farron. I want to say on Saturday, but I could be wrong. He was telling us.
His name was Charles Riley. Yep.
Yeah, his experience was that he had been an elder, and basically he was railroaded out of the organization, and he took that all the way up to the governing body, and met with governing body and district overseers and all the rest, and they did nothing about reinstating him. But just to hear that, I mean, you just wish everybody could hear that story, because that is Watchtower. That is so Watchtower. Just a bunch of cowards that refuse to right any wrong, and then they'll go up there and give a talk about love and forgiveness. to come right off the stage and practice nothing that they preached. I was just blown away when I heard his story.
And boy, he was a really good speaker too. He really was. I like him a lot. His wife was nice too. And you know,
She was very nice.
3 weeks up until the convention, my wife Susan here, she was nice enough and kind enough to take notes for me and listen to all of the calls. We had people, we spent sometimes upwards of 5 or 6 people a night just talking with them, people who wanted to give a talk at the convention. We had no trouble getting people who wanted to give a talk. Believe me, it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe the people who wanted to speak up, but we were interviewing people to give talks. But there was some people who called. There's no way that we could have them. Some of the stuff that I heard, I couldn't even repeat what went on with them. It was so graphic and so debased that I said, no, this would be too much. I didn't want to overload everybody's donkey. And I even had some people at the convention, one in particular, that he was almost in tears. He said, Rick, I like the convention. He said, I really do. He says, but boy, I'll tell you, some of these stories are really, really getting to me. I says, well, you hang around. I said, we're not going to always just focus on, the bad stuff here. We get some good stuff. Then we had the motivational speaker, Gary, and others come on and playing the bands. But I can see where I didn't want to have a focus on all the emotional issues, but we have to talk about that. And that's one thing we've always done here at the 6 Screens is I want to hear it all. And then we can, I'm not in total agreement with everybody that comes on our program every Saturday night, but I want everyone to have a voice. I want people to hear it all. And then they can decide for themselves whether they think this Jehovah's Witness organization is good or bad. And everyone knows it's bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just going back to Mr. Springmeyer. I did get a chance to talk to him just for a few minutes. I wasn't sure if he was mad at me or not because he got a little hot with me once when he was on your show because I'd asked him a question about Jordan Maxwell, and I did not realize that he had a lot of negative experiences. I had no way of knowing that, and he got pretty angry with me. So I was going to apologize, and I realized he didn't even remember it, so I didn't even bring it up. But I purchased his book about the Jehovah Witnesses and the Freemasons, and I'm telling you, Mr. Farron, I cannot put it down. So if anybody's interested, I will definitely tell you that is definitely worth the read. He has tons of footnotes of other books and publications that you can go and consult and get even more information. But this Jehovah Witness organization was never a religion. It was always a business. And I'm going to say Manson. What is his name? I can't remember. The Watchtower president. Russell. He was definitely pulling things from the occult. There is no doubt about it. We all probably have some suspicions. Just a lot of the weird stuff that we've read over the years, the weird images in the pictures in the literature over the years. We probably all had some kind of intuition that this isn't just, this all isn't above board here. But when you read that book, you can really see how he pulled from the occult in this organization, and it is mind blowing. And I'm telling you, I know there's probably no active witnesses listening to this, but if you're listening to this, get out of that cult. It's not only a cult, it's a demonic cult.
Thank you, Stephan. Yes.
Your mic's still on, Rick. Rick, your mic.
Yeah, in fact, Fritz, thank you for saying that, Stephan. Fritz actually had me write the foreword to his new book. So I was really in a good position to do that. He said, boy, if you do that for me. So I wrote the foreword to his new book he has. But I was reviewing that. He didn't have copies of it there, but it was all about the Watchtower and the Freemasonry. Again, he gets really into that. And he is the world's foremost authority on that, on the Freemasonry connection to the Watchtower, and also on the bloodlines of the Illuminati. And he's a very fascinating person. And we've had numerous people. We've had actually 4 different programs talking about conspiracy on our network. And I have to tell you, Fritz, I like the way that he presents it because it's first of all, it's very controversial. what he speaks about is very controversial. Not everyone's going to connect with it. And I've had a number of people, even before Fritz came, that said, you're not going to have Fritz Waymeyer come there, are you? I said, of course. Oh, no, you shouldn't have him. I said, well, wait a minute. I'm not going to go into all of that. Fritz had some issues in the past, but it's all cleared up. And this man knows a lot about Freemasonry. He knows a lot about the Illuminati and how I was hoping he could have got into during the convention, how the Watchtower. Yeah, he was on our program a couple of years ago saying how the Watchtower was indeed at one time used by the Illuminati. They'd actually worked with the Watchtower, but he says they kind of washed them up now. They don't need them anymore. But that's how he
Right.
feels the Watchtower got their start. Yep.
And if anybody wants to argue that Watchtower doesn't have anything to do with Freemasonry, you just ask yourself one question. You are not allowed to go into a church, whether it's for a wedding or a funeral. You're not allowed to have a wedding and a funeral in a church. But yet you can do all those things, guess where? In a Masonic lodge. I can't tell you how many times I have been to some event, even my cousin had his wedding reception in a Masonic lodge. And I've always wondered, even as a kid, why is it we can go into the Masonic lodge and they have all of this, what I consider to be occult imagery all over the place. But we can go in there for a funeral or for a wedding reception or even a wedding, but you can't go into a church. That alone shows you that they are connected to the Freemasons. And because they've been doing that for so long, we don't even really question why it's okay to go inside of a Masonic lodge for these activities. But if you ever just think about it, if you couldn't have something in the Kingdom Hall, 9 times out of 10, you'd have even the memorial. You'd have it at a Masonic lodge. So if anybody thinks that there's no connection between the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Masons, just think about that point.
Very good.
Joe, can I make a comment there for Stefan?
Please do, Matthew.
Thank you, Fran. So, Stefan, yes, look, this thing goes back many years. So, you've got generational families that had a mix of Rosicrucianists, Theosophists, Freemasonry. It all worked together. It's such a complex thing. A lot of it was business. If I think about South Africa, you had, I don't know if you know George Phillips from Glasgow, Scotland, but he was the coordinator back in, or he was functioning around 1948 era. And a lot of those investments were being put into the mining operations from Cape Town all the way to mid-Africa, Congo, or DRC, those areas. And what they were doing is they were training up the indigenous people here or throughout Africa, and they were now becoming educated, and they were seeing the racial divide, and it just became a real mess, so much so that you had this renegade Watchtower organization that developed here in Africa. And George Phillips was sent specifically from Gilead to South Africa to fix this and to tell the South African government that Watchtower is not the same as Watchtower, Pennsylvania, and New York. I don't know if you actually have that booklet from 1948. They're very delicate. They fall apart. So I managed to get it from Franz Schradel, who is the overseer for the research department, the main research department. And I had it stamped by a magistrate within Watchtower. They stamped it for me. So we actually have a new old copy of those documents in French and also in English, which shows that this thing became renegade and militant, and they actually had to disassociate from it and assure the South African government that no, it's not the same. those investments. It was just people after the money and things like this, and they disassociated. So it's a very complex mix of many different things. Freemasonry is part of it. Zionism is part of it. It's just huge. But we've got those documents. We've got it. Anyway.
Yeah, that is really something.
Yeah, but what was interesting is that Franz Schrader, he's still current. He's still current, and they stamped this thing. They stamped it for me, so I've got a copy of that. I'm entitled to have it. Anyway, so thanks for listening.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I need to get going myself. I just got in from my travels about 2 hours before you guys started.
Yes, Will, thank you so
Right.
much for coming on.
Rick, I wanted to say thank you. I think it like I said, I think it exceeded any expectations I had. Like that was quite an event. So thank you for putting that together, Rick.
Well, thank you for coming and wanting to help us as well. I appreciate that. Well, you're a good man. Don't you ever change.
I enjoyed your speaking.
Yes, sir.
You did a fine job.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Joe and Fran, thank you as always. We'll be
love
talking
you.
soon, I'm sure.
See
Love
you
y'all.
again. Yes.
Everyone have a good one.
And Rick, Stephanie had to get off because her computer died, but she wanted to say that tell Rick thank you for this life-changing event. And he was clear. The mission is the big picture. So.
Well, that's good. I want to thank her. And in fact, I even got a message today. This wasn't a convention. It was a revolution. Now, I like some of the terminology, but it's kind of true in a way. It could start something. And someone did get a hold of me today, and I believe they're a Bethel. I can't confirm it because it came through as a fictitious name. But they said that the Watchtower was aware of this, and they were watching it closely.
I'm sure
and
they were.
They hated it. They hated it.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did.
Rick, I do know that. I can give you that confirmation that it was absolutely monitored. But the connection, interestingly, is that also in a very discreet way, Irish detectives were also connected into this. I don't know why, but they locked onto this thing as well. And I had one speak to me, and yeah, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm not quite sure why. It could be something to do with the asset control that's happening in Ireland.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling it's something to do with that.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, I did get a person write me today that gets into the Jehovah's Witness Facebook chat. They're Facebook groups, and you can't get in because they kind of make it very private. But the person did write me and said that they were talking a lot about it, the Jehovah's Witness people on Facebook in the last couple of days. So they're talking. They must be PMOs, or they must be thinking. They're talking about it at least. So that was good.
I think the reason also is the liability, Rick, if I may address you like that. Can I call you Rick?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you. So I think the problem is the liability. There's no doubt about it. Because as soon as you use the doctrinal principles that are there, and they have failed to use their own doctrine, that's the liability. It creates a liability going back to how Rutherford set things up in law. If they cannot maintain the way he set things up, it falls apart, because that system relies upon the legal system in order to keep above. But it also uses, I think we had somebody who was commenting about, was it Stefan, about the Freemasonry thing? That was all business fraternity. It was that mainly business. There is the occult and the spiritual aspect which runs that. But for many Freemasons, it was just the business aspect, you see, and getting into it from there and just going, okay, well, if there's an occult ritual, we'll just go along with it as long as the business is good. But in this particular case, Rick, for whatever reason happened here, the exposure or just putting things into the ether, if you want to call it that, somehow this convention opened something up. There was kind of an alignment in many sectors, not just this convention, but there was many things lining up that all had this synchronistic effect. And I think it boils down to a couple of things. One, during the big planetary sickness that we had, what occurred was a failure to abide by the principle of life and blood. And when that occurred at the top levels, the Bethels, 99%, I don't want to spell it out too much. I think you know what I'm talking about. When 99% said we're getting on board with this, it collapsed. Whatever spiritual maya or illusion or whatever was there was punctured and penetrated from that point on. And I'll give you a reason why, because they had the warning in advance. How far in advance? Goes back to 2013. Rick, this is incredible that this happened. And like Fritz mentioned, the way, if something is exposed or if there's information that leaks, it becomes so dangerous for whoever's involved who's acting out of conscience. But from that point on, we saw the collapse. The collapse happened because it went against its own doctrine. I hope that makes sense. I know it's kind of complex.
Well, no, it does. It makes a lot of sense. In fact, I'll tell you what, COVID changed the whole world, brother. The whole world, not just the witness world, but we're still all suffering from the adverse effects of that. It's not the same world anymore. This is a different world we're living in. In the Watchtower, really, that put the frosting on the cake. It really did. People had a chance during COVID because they were not going to the meetings. They had a chance during COVID to do a little thinking on their own. They weren't under so much control, and many of them got up and packed their bags. And that's why and we've talked about it, I firmly believe there are 4 million PMOs. There are 4 million Jehovah's Witnesses that are going to the meetings. They're going out in service. They don't believe this, but they just know what will happen if they become very outright known to the Watchtower that they're apostates. The whole family, as we all know, will cut them off and their relatives and friends. So, but 4 million people don't believe it.
There wasn't anybody in the branch. If we had the proprietary formula for making those medicines, and let me tell you, South Africa branch has got its own pathology. Essentially, it's running its own hospital for the whole of Africa. Essentially, although we change the names and call it Family Health Center or whatever it is to but it's got its own surgery, it's got everything. So it's a hospital basically, in form. And when H1N1 came, we had a sample of that. And then of course there was the Ebola thing happening up in North Africa. But the point I want to make is this. If you had said to the purchasing department, we have the proprietary formula to make these medicines and distribute them, who of us or which sister here in Bethel was going to donate their baby for the cell lines? Who was going to do it? Because that was the material that was used. And of course, it got ambiguous about where the source of that came from. But the data was already there. When of course, now it hit the data started disappearing, and then it became ambiguous and you can't trace that. But you had to have accumulated that information before it occurred. And who was going to donate the blood? If you were going to make this medicines on this scale, sure, the medicine might not eventually have that material, but the process to make it, if you said to purchasing, right, so let's get on the phone and start ordering blood, who was going to do it? You've disassociated yourself. The Catholic Church addressed it. The Pope had to override the cardinals, but that didn't happen. And if they say, oh, we didn't have the warning, no, the evidence is there. And Rick, I want to say, I cannot say definite foul play, but the pattern was anybody who contributed information disappeared. I can't talk about it, but anybody who came in, it was an accident, or this happened, or that happened, and we just lost people. That's why I'm traumatized from this thing, Rick. How do you talk about it in the open? But anyway, I think from that point on, that's the collapse. I can't. If it stays on spiritually, it's disqualified. If Christ walks, you just condemn it. He would condemn it outright. It cannot stand. And I think it just got to a saturation point. The evidence, it's not my. It doesn't just rely on me. I've got the sense that if I got the information, others have got it. It's too late. It's out. If that doesn't make sense, I apologize. But
Well, there you go. No, it does make sense. And thank you for sharing that with us. You really get deep into this, and that's good you do. I mean, you really take this serious. And geez, we hope that you continue to do your research. But really, you sound very straightforward, very intelligent with this. Good job. You keep up the good work, brother.
We have a
and
few
thank
minutes.
you all again.
We have a few minutes left.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Matthew. And we have a few minutes left. We just want to say hi to Wild Wall.
Hello, Wild.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
How's everybody doing?
I'm doing great. Glad to see y'all here.
I just want to say something to Rick real quick. I'm an old timer, Rick, like you. Remember Simon's site that we were on 17 years ago?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I went by Stonewall on there. And
you did? Yeah.
Yeah, and I go by Wild Wall in here. The reason being, I didn't realize all the connotation Stonewall had till a couple of people thought I was gay. I ain't got nothing against it, but they said there's a club up there. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm from the South, so Stonewall Jackson was one of my favorite guys. And I was like, well, just to keep the confusion down, I go by Wild Wall. But enough about that. I just want to tell you, I'm an old timer, 17 years. I just checked on Simon's site. I've been out for a while. The reason with the glasses and everything is my family knows I'm kind of playing a little trick with the elders in case they ever do call me in. I've faded for 17 years, but I first showed my face on Joe and Friends here after all these years. They got me out. They've even told people the city on me, and I'm not at all worried. And I just wanted to say what you did was amazing. I watched all three days as an old timer that's been around for a while. And you remember on Simon's site, they had that Apostafest Fest back in the UK he was part of, and everybody talked about it back in the old days.
Yeah.
And then a user by the name of Flipper had the meetups out in California or Lake Tahoe years ago. And I always would point people to them to see what EXJWs are capable of as far as meetups and encouraging each other. And it ain't all doom and gloom as we saw on the videos from Flipper sites and Simon's and now from yours. We do know there's a lot of people that are hurt, but there's also a lot of people being helped right now. People are healing. And that's what I like to focus on, is that if we can help people go to these meetups, even if it's a small meetup, go and encourage people, find out their story. Sometimes people just need a listening ear and they just open up. And I think what you did, Rick, really is going to help more people. And if you have another one in the future, I'm sure it will easily double the amount of people. because word will get out. People will see that others did come and they'll want to be a part of it. So I just had to tell you that from an old timer.
Well, thank you for saying that, but no, I've heard that before. The first one's always tough and very hard for people to do it. And, they wanted to see what was going to happen, but it was successful. So that will mean that more people would want to do this. So I'm not ruling out another one. So we're going to see what happens and what unfolds in the future. But thank you for coming on and sharing your thoughts. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much, everyone. And the movie is in the
Can I, I'm Frank. Can I just say one thing? This is Stefan. Can I just say one quick thing?
Yes.
I just want to add to what the brother Wall there said. Just knowing that there's an ex-witness community out there is also important. Just knowing that they are out there, because when I woke up 2017, 2018, I literally thought I was the only one.
Mm-hmm.
I was dealing with everything that I was dealing with completely by myself and trying to figure out life as an EXJW and dealing with all the ramifications. I had no idea that there was a Six Screens, that there was a Rick Farron, all these fine people that are on this show. I did not know there was an EXJW witness community. I didn't even know there was YouTube channels all about this. And one Saturday in the winter, pitch black, I'm outside renovating the garage, and something about Six Screens popped up on my phone, and I just saw EXJWFriends Witness, and I clicked on it, and it literally has changed my life. So the point that I'm making, just to tie back into what Brother Wall just said, just knowing that there's an EXJW witness community is so important, because I guarantee you there's somebody out there that now is probably saying to themselves, it's going to be easier for me to leave this cult because I know that there's a community out there.
That's it. That's it.
Hey, Stefan, do you happen to remember the night we all called in for the first time? Do you remember when that was? I almost thought it was April or May of 2022.
I kind of think you're just about right. And it's kind of funny because I have been listening for weeks, maybe even months, and I just could not open my mouth, and I just felt like I didn't really have anything important to say. But Mr. Farron kept saying, if there's anybody out there that's listening and has never called in before, it would just make my day if you would call in. And I said, okay, I'm going to call in just to try to put a smile on Mr. Farron's face. And you guys called in, and you said this was our first time. And then I called in after you, and I've not been able to shut my mouth ever since then. But to answer your question, I do think that's right about that time, but I could not say for sure.
Yeah, because.
But I would definitely say that just really opened it up for me, and I've been able to express myself thanks to you guys and thanks to Mr. Farron, asking for new people to call in.
Yeah, we one night, because Rick, someone didn't show up. Rick, you were supposed to have a show with, I forget his name. He was a regular, and he didn't show up. And so we called in, and we were talking for quite a long time. And then Stefan called in. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. I do remember that. I know when you called in, you said you were only a couple of months out.
Mm-hmm.
You just got out recently. I believe you guys got out in December, right? December 22.
Yeah.
So it would have been somewhere around there. So December, January, February, maybe March or April. Yep, in there somewhere. Yep. I'll go back and try to find it for you. I have them all in the archives. I'll go back and try to find it.
Yeah, it was probably April, because Joe and I just had a fire outside, and we came in, and I told Joe, I said, Rick said anybody can call in. And so he said, go ahead, call in. So I did.
Hey, Rick, can I ask you something real quick?
Sure.
Do you remember a couple of weeks ago, I was digging out some stuff. This is from 18 years ago. I just want to see if this triggers you or if you had one of these. I don't know if you can see it.
It's a book bag.
A book bag. A brother from California used to make them. I was just curious if y'all up there in Boston area got them from him too. Some of the circuit overseers down here definitely made sure we got them from him back in the day. I was just curious.
No, I did not. I had a book bag big like that, but it wasn't made by a brother. I just bought it in Staples or somewhere like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you though for sharing that. That's an interesting fact. Yeah.
Okay, Ruby has an announcement.
Hey guys, so if anybody wants to join us on Discord, we are going to be watching this movie. I've never heard of it before. It's called The Full Monty from 1997. So if you want to join us,
Oh my God, you gotta cry laughing through that one. That's a funny movie.
oh, okay. I'm kind of happy you guys, at least somebody recognizes it, but this is why we do movie night, so we can experience all of the movies that we were not allowed to watch in the past.
If I'm not mistaken, it's called The Full Monty, which is more of a British term for being naked. If I'm not mistaken, it's called The Full Monty. But yes, you'll like it. It's funny.
Okay, cool. So if you guys want to join, I'm going to share a link in the chat and it'll show up as Joe and Fran or Fixing My Faith. But you just click that link, you joined our Discord server, EXJWFriends, and then I'm going to start the event in the movie room. So it's a virtual event and we're all going to watch a movie together. So thank you to Joe and Fran. Thank you to Rick. Thank you to everybody in the chat, everybody who joined the stage tonight. I had so much fun with the chat and with you guys backstage. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Ruby.
Well, thank you, Ruby.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They lost power, so Ruby took over. So we have quite a team here, Rick. If somebody loses power, the other person takes over.
Well, you're doing a fine job, but really very well organized, and we really appreciate what you're doing too, Fran and Joe. Keep up the good work, and all these people that are activists. We're so happy to have them all. You're all my real brother and sister. In Dallas, you two, you're a good man.
Thank you. And you don't mind if I ask a question real quick? And I want to ask about how JT and Lady C where they are, because they're in the DC area, which some of that is very familiar to me because I have relatives. I don't know where they are because I'd love to sometime even meet them.
That would be nice.
DC.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in DC.
I don't. It could be one of these suburbs. I was thinking.
Yeah. We'll let them know you're interested, okay?
I can look them up online.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you
Good
all.
night, everyone.
Well, thank you, Fran. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Dallas, and everyone
Y'all,
else. Thank you, guys.
y'all too. Y'all take care.
Good
We'll
night.
see you Saturday night on the 6th screens. Thank you, Dallas.
Night all.
Thank you.
Night all.
Thank you, everyone.